Chapter 1361. After all, these 500 spiritual heaven realm experts were the strongest force in the beast-sealed empire. As long as he could gain the support of these 500 people, his position in the beast-sealed empire would become firm. "Your Highness, do you need me to find a few women to serve you?" Shohai's confidant said flatteringly. Shohai looked at the palace in the distance and revealed a wicked smile. "Let's go. I'll go take a look at the palace and see if I can get some beauties." "All right." Shohai's confidant was delighted when he heard Shohai's words. After all, the thought of being able to enter the palace and snatch women made his blood boil. "Miss, this is bad. Those bastards rushed into the new city and started killing people again. Most importantly, the guard came to Shin and said in a flustered tone. "What else did they do?" Shin hurriedly asked when she saw the guard's flustered look. "They even raped the women in the new city," the guard said furiously. "What? Those bastards. How could they do such a thing?" Shin was furious when she heard the guard's words. Boom! At this moment, a huge explosion sounded. "You arrogant bastards! How dare you barge into my Tianyuan palace? Kill them!" In the next second, shouts of killing could be heard. The guard panicked when he heard the shouts. He looked at Shin worriedly. "Miss, they've rushed into the palace. A bunch of ants. How dare you be arrogant in front of His Highness? Die!" Shohai's confidant looked at the surrounding soldiers and snorted in disdain. Then Shohai's confidant waved his hand, and a powerful force pressed down on the surrounding soldiers. Boom! 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 In front of Shohai's confidant's powerful force, the surrounding soldiers couldn't resist at all. They instantly exploded and turned into a bloody mist. Such a trashy place. I really don't understand how Big Brother died here." Shohai snorted in disdain. Shohai couldn't help but feel that Tian was extremely pitiful when he thought about how his genius brother had died in such a place. "Your Highness, the Crown Prince's death is the will of the heavens. This proves that the Beast Seal Empire is yours, Your Highness." Hearing Shohai's words, the confidant said respectfully, "Shoo." Shohai quickly shushed him. Then he smiled and said, "Although this is the truth, don't say it out loud. Once I become the Crown Prince, I won't eat it." This subordinate understands," the confidant hurriedly said with a flattering smile. "Hurry up and find me a woman. I also need a vent." Shohai urged his trusted subordinate. "Don't worry, Your Highness. None of the women in the palace can escape. I will definitely choose the most beautiful one for Your Highness." The confidant nodded and promised. They are courting death. Yihao had finally arrived at Tianyuan City with great difficulty. However, when he saw the hellish city before him, Yihao was instantly enraged. A terrifying, murderous intent was instantly emitted from Yihao's body. "Your Highness, this bunch of people are simply beasts." Yueying, who was standing behind Yihao, said angrily. "Your Highness, hurry up and give the order for us to attack." Elder Yin's eyes turned red instantly. The members of the Great Ten Alliance were all enraged at this moment. After all, most of the people in Tianyuan City were immigrants from the Great Ten Alliance. How could they not be enraged when they saw their own people being slaughtered by the people of the Beast Seal Empire? As long as Yihao gave the order, they would definitely turn the people of the Beast Seal Empire into ashes. "Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive." Yihao's tone was extremely cold as he issued the order. Yihao was burning with rage. He was already extremely furious. "Kill them all." The many powerhouses behind Yihao roared and charged out when they heard Yihao's order. "Your Highness, Shin is still in the palace." Just then, Elder Yin hurriedly ran to Yihao and said, "What?" Yihao was shocked when he heard Elder Yin's words. Then, Yihao hurriedly said to Zhou Dong and the others, "All of you, follow me to the palace quickly." Now, Yihao could only pray that nothing happened to Shin. Otherwise, Yihao could guarantee that he would definitely turn the entire Beast Seal Empire into a river of blood. Yihao sped towards the palace quickly. Zhou Dong and the other spiritual emperors also quickly followed behind Yihao. "Don't F*** King follow me. Hurry up and rush to the palace." If anything happens to Shin, don't think that you'll have a good time either. Yi Hao couldn't help but curse when he saw Zhou Dong and the others following behind him. After all, Zhou Dong and the others were faster than him to begin with. In the end, Zhou Dong and the others were still following behind him. Wasn't this a waste of time? Right now, time was money. He had a bad feeling about this. Yes. When Zhou Dong and the others heard Yi Hao's words, they immediately used all their speed to rush towards the palace. Yi Hao also hurriedly chased after them. Your Highness, what do you think of this woman? The confidant looked at Shin in front of him and then looked at Shou Hai in a flattering manner. To be honest, when he saw how beautiful Shin was, he also felt extremely hot in his heart. If it weren't for the fact that he wanted to curry favor with Shou Hai, he would definitely enjoy such a beautiful woman for himself. Haha, you did the right thing. I didn't expect that there would be such a beauty in a place like this. Shou Hai looked at Shin, his eyes filled with tyrannical greed. I'll take my leave first. Your Highness, please enjoy yourself. The confidant said to Shou Hai. Hurry up and get lost. Shou Hai waved his hand impatiently and took off his armor. Miss, run quickly. I'll help you stop him. The guard looked at Shou Hai, and although he was nervous, he still said to Shin, I saw trash. Shou Hai scolded when he heard the guard's words. Shou Hai stretched out his hand, and the guard immediately flew towards him. Shou Hai exerted force in his hand and broke the guard's neck. Shou Hai then looked at Shin and rubbed his hands together. Little beauty, as long as you serve me well, I'll let you be my woman. In the future, you might even be my concubine. Don't even think about it. Even if I die, I won't be humiliated by you. The moment Shin finished speaking, a dagger appeared in her hand. Goodbye, grandfather. Goodbye, brother Yi Hao. Shin also gritted his teeth and stabbed the dagger in his hand towards his chest. Chapter 1362. Shou Hai looked at the dagger in Shin's hand, and a disdainful smile flashed across his eyes. Shou Hai casually waved his hand, and the dagger in Shin's hand flew out and smashed onto the ground. Poochie! The dagger directly pierced into the hard ground. You want to commit suicide in front of me? Dream on. Shou Hai coldly snorted in disdain. Shin's eyes instantly filled with despair. She didn't expect Shou Hai to be so strong. In front of Shou Hai, she couldn't even commit suicide. Seeing Shou Hai closing in on her, she could only continuously retreat. Bang! Shin's body crashed into the wall behind her. This caused her expression to become even more flustered because she had nowhere to retreat. Hee, why don't you retreat? The more you struggle, the more excited this highness will be. Shou Hai rubbed his hands and looked at Shin with a lecherous smile. Looking at Shin's beautiful face and excellent figure, Shou Hai felt his body burning with desire. He couldn't wait any longer. Come for me. Shou Hai shouted excitedly and stretched out his hand to grab Shin's clothes. Bang! Suddenly, the door of the hall was pushed open. This gave Shou Hai a fright. When he saw that the emperor who entered was his trusted aide, he immediately cursed angrily. This caused Shou Hai to angrily curse. Bastard, who allowed you to come in? Your Highness, please forgive me. That Xia Haoshuan has brought someone back. Shou Hai's trusted aide hurriedly said. Brother Haoshuan is back. When Shin heard Shou Hai's trusted aide's words, she was immediately overjoyed. This allowed her to see a trace of hope. That coward is finally back. Go and get 500 experts to capture that brat. Shou Hai didn't care at all as he ordered his trusted aide. Clearly, with the 500 spiritual heaven realm experts here, Shou Hai was fearless. This subordinate obeys. Shou Hai's trusted aide immediately nodded when he heard Shou Hai's words. Shou Hai looked at Shin with ridicule. You seem very happy when you heard that bastard was back. You can't be his woman, right? That's great. In a while, I'll enjoy you in front of him. Ha ha ha. You're despicable. When Shin heard Shou Hai's words, she immediately stomped her feet in anger. Shin directly took out a long sword and pierced towards the sea of beasts. Bitch, Why are you so disobedient? When Shohai saw that In Shinshin actually dared to stab him with a sword, he was immediately enraged. Shohai stretched out his hand and grabbed In Shinshin's sword with 2 fingers. Clang! A crisp sound rang out as the long sword in In Shinshin's hand broke apart. Bang! The door of the main hall was opened once again. What's the matter? Why do you keep disturbing my mood? Are you tired of living? Shohai roared angrily without even turning his head. Plop! What answered the sea of beasts was not his trusted aid, but the sound of something hitting the ground. Hearing this voice, the sea of beasts frowned. The sea of beasts felt that something was wrong and quickly turned around. When Shohai saw the corpse of his trusted aide, he was shocked. He then looked at Zhou Dong and the others. Shohai angrily shouted, "Who are you? The people who want your life." Zhou Dong shouted angrily. He took out his bow, an arrow, and was about to shoot at the sea of beasts. Whoosh! Seeing the arrow shoot over, Shohai didn't dare to underestimate it, because he sensed a dangerous aura from Zhou Dong's arrow. Shohai didn't have time to think, and wanted to grab In Shinshin behind him. But in the next second, he was stunned because his hand had missed. When Zhou Dong entered the main hall, Zhou Dong was worried that Shohai would hurt In Shinshin. So Zhou Dong sent a voice transmission to In Shinshin, telling him to hide to the side. Damn bitch! Shohai couldn't help but curse when he saw In Shinshin hiding to the side. Shohai didn't dare to think too much and quickly summoned his magical beasts. Roar! Roar! Following Shohai's summons, 2 huge spiritual heaven realm magical beasts blocked Shohai's path. Shohai couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief when he saw the 2 magical beasts in front of him. At the same time, he revealed a smug expression. No matter what, their beast-sealed empire relied on contracting magical beasts. Although his talent wasn't as good as Shou Tian's, it was still very good. He felt that his 2 magical beasts should have no problem dealing with Zhou Dong and the others. But in the next second, Shohai was dumbfounded once again. He saw Zhou Dong's arrows easily pierce through the bodies of his 2 magical beasts. Bang! Bang! The 2 magical beasts didn't even have the chance to attack before they exploded on the spot, turning into a bloody mist. This is impossible. What's your cultivation? Shohai looked at Zhou Dong in disbelief. One had to know that with his 2 magical beasts, he had the confidence to fight even against a peak spiritual heaven realm expert. But against Zhou Dong, he was instantly killed. How could he possibly accept that? First level spiritual emperor. Zhou Dong didn't hide it and directly reported his cultivation. What? First level spiritual emperor. Shohai was completely dumbfounded when he heard Zhou Dong's words. Then, Shohai's expression became incomparably panicked as he said, "This is impossible. This small empire has just been established. How could it have a first-level spiritual emperor? This is absolutely impossible." One had to know that their Shohai empire was a 3rd-rank empire. Aside from his father, who had an old first-level spiritual emperor magical beast, they didn't have any other spiritual emperor realm experts. So, Xiahao Xuan naturally couldn't accept that the Tianyuan Empire, which had just been established, had a first-level spiritual emperor expert. If he knew that the Tianyuan Empire had a spiritual emperor realm expert, he wouldn't have come even if he was beaten to death. "Where's Shinshin?" Yihao shouted as soon as he entered the main hall. At this moment, Yihao's face was filled with worry. When In Shinshin saw Yihao appear, she immediately rushed towards Xiahao Xuan and cried, "Boo-hoo! Big brother Yihao, you're finally back." It was obvious that In Shinshin was scared out of her wits by Shohai. If Yihao didn't appear, she really didn't know how miserable her fate would be. Fortunately, Xiahao Xuan appeared in time. This made her unable to control her grievances. What exactly happened? Yihao looked at the sobbing In Shinshin and reached out to gently stroke In Shinshin's head as he asked Zhou Dong in a cold tone, "Your Majesty, that brat wanted to do something to this lady. Fortunately, we stopped him in time." Zhou Dong hurriedly pointed at the Shohai when he heard Yihao's question. When Yihao heard Zhou Dong's words, his body instantly emitted a strong murderous intent. Yihao ordered Zhou Dong, "Remove his 3 legs and 2 arms. Yes, your majesty. Zhou Dong immediately walked towards the show high when he heard Yi Hao's order. On the other hand, Yin Xinxin was stunned when she heard Yi Hao's order. She immediately stopped crying and looked curiously at the show high. Then, she looked at Yi Hao in confusion. Big brother Yi Hao, doesn't he only have 2 legs? Where did he get 3 legs? Chapter 1363. But in the next second, Yin Xinxin knew what the 3rd leg Yi Hao was talking about was. This caused Yin Xinxin's little face to instantly turn red. Zhou Dong directly crippled Shou Hai's 4 limbs, and the last sword strike crippled Shou Hai's family jewels. Shou Hai was in so much pain that he almost fainted. Just you wait. I have 500 spirit heaven realm experts outside. You're dead meat. Shou Hai stared at Yi Hao and roared with incomparable anger. If looks could kill, he would have already killed Yi Hao 1,000,000 times. Bring him along. Let him see how his 500 spirit heaven realm experts die. Yi Hao looked at Shou Hai in disdain and ordered Zhou Dong. Yes. Zhou Dong grabbed Shou Hai and followed behind Yi Hao. How is this possible? Shou Hai arrived outside the palace. When he saw the scene in front of him, he immediately turned pale with fright, because he saw that the 500 spirit heaven realm experts that he had high hopes for had all become lambs that could be slaughtered at any moment. One had to know that Yi Hao's subordinates were all at the peak of the spirit heaven realm, although Shou Hai's subordinates were also at the spirit heaven realm. Those who could reach the peak of the spirit heaven realm were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. Therefore, Shou Hai's subordinates were naturally no match for Yi Hao's subordinates. Shou Hai couldn't believe that his 500 spirit heaven realm experts were actually so weak. He couldn't believe that a newly established empire actually had so many experts. What kind of power is behind you? Shou Hai looked at Yi Hao in horror and asked. The power behind me is something that no one in this world can afford to offend. Yi Hao looked at Shou Hai and said mockingly. Although Yi Hao's words sounded extremely arrogant, there wasn't a trace of a lie in them, because the power behind Yi Hao was the entire Chaos Realm. A mere ancient demon realm naturally couldn't be compared to the Chaos Realm. Although Shou Hai heard Yi Hao's words and felt that Yi Hao's words were extremely arrogant, a hint of despair still flashed across his eyes. It was because his 500 spirit heaven realm experts were almost all killed by Yi Hao's subordinates. This also meant that he was about to be finished. Kill him. Yi Hao directly ordered Zhou Dong. Yes. When Zhou Dong heard Xia Haoshuan's command, he directly raised his blade and took Shou Hai's life. Yin Xinxin looked at Yi Hao with a face full of worship. She found that Yi Hao had not left for long, but the power in his hands had become even stronger. He had actually gotten so many powerful subordinates. Shou Hai, Shou. What's wrong, big brother Yi Hao? When Yin Xinxin saw the change in Yi Hao's expression, she couldn't help but ask worriedly. Zhou Dong and the others could sense the murderous intent from Yi Hao's body. Thus they immediately glanced toward Yi Hao. Something happened to the 1,000-pill imperial city's patriarch. Yi Hao said coldly. Who is the 1,000-pill imperial city's patriarch? Yin Xinxin was puzzled when she heard Yi Hao's words, but she didn't ask. Something happened to the 1,000-pill imperial city's patriarch? This shouldn't be. Zhou Dong frowned when he heard Yi Hao's words. They were clear about the strength of the beast-sealed empire. Over the years, the beast-sealed empire's new strength had been constantly increasing. However, they couldn't find a single spirit emperor realm expert. It could be said that the entire beast-sealed empire was supported by spirit heaven realm experts. The one with the most hope of reaching the spirit emperor realm in the beast-sealed empire was Shou Tian, but Shou Tian had long been killed by Yi Hao. Therefore, in their opinion, since the beast-sealed empire sent 500 spirit heaven realm experts to Tian Yuan, there shouldn't be any experts in the beast-sealed empire. And Yi Hao made the 1,000-pill imperial city's patriarch, who was a first-level spirit emperor realm expert, deal with an empty shell of the beast-sealed empire. It should be an easy task. But now, they were told that something had happened to the 1,000-pill imperial city's patriarch. This made them somewhat unable to react. That beast-sealed emperor isn't at the peak of the spirit heaven realm at all. He's a second-level spirit emperor realm expert. Yi Hao said directly. If it wasn't for the 1,000-pill Imperial City's patriarch urgently transmitting a voice transmission to him, Yi Hao would really find it hard to believe that the beast-sealed emperor was actually so strong. What? The beast-sealed emperor actually concealed himself so deeply. Zhou Dong was shocked when he heard Yi Hao's words. After all, the few of them were Yi Hao's strongest subordinates, and their strength was only at the first-level spirit emperor realm. Didn't this mean that the beast-sealed emperor's strength directly surpassed their cultivation? Your Majesty, should we set off now to save the 1,000-pill Imperial City's patriarch? Zhou Dong asked. Bring all the corpses. We'll give the beast-sealed emperor a gift. Yi Hao glanced at the corpses all over the ground and said, We accept the decree. Yi Hao left behind 100 peak spirit heaven realm experts and led the rest of the experts to the beast-sealed empire. This time, he would only stop after he swallowed the entire beast-sealed empire. 1,000-pill patriarch, are you willing to submit to me? In a cage in the beast-sealed empire, the beast-sealed emperor wore a dragon robe and looked at the chained 1,000-pill patriarch in front of him. At this moment, the 1,000-pill patriarch's body was already covered in blood, which meant that the 1,000-pill patriarch had suffered a lot. You want me to submit? No way. When my majesty comes, I'll definitely destroy your beast-sealed empire. The 1,000-pill patriarch snorted coldly. I really don't understand. Your 1,000-pill Imperial City's power isn't small. Why would you submit to a newly established force? The beast-sealed emperor said with a puzzled expression. Your majesty is young and talented. Naturally, it's worth following. The 1,000-pill patriarch snorted coldly again. Ha ha ha, you idiot. I'm afraid you still don't know that you've been used by someone. The beast-sealed emperor looked at the 1,000-pill patriarch with a mocking expression. The 1,000-pill patriarch frowned. What do you mean? That brat obviously saw that he couldn't beat my 500 spirit heaven realm experts, so he sent you to capture me and force my son to retreat. Unfortunately, no matter how much he calculated, he did not take into account my strength. So, his wishful thinking is naturally in vain. I reckon that at this moment, his bullshit Tian Yuan empire has already been destroyed. The beast-sealed emperor's tone was filled with pride. Obviously, the beast-sealed emperor didn't know that his son and 500 spirit heaven realm experts had all been killed by Yi Hao. Even now, he still believed that his 500 spiritual heaven realm experts could look down on them with disdain, and that they could definitely destroy Yi Hao's Tian Yuan empire with ease. When the 1,000-pill patriarch saw the beast-sealed emperor's smug expression, he couldn't help but sneer in his heart. This was because he already knew that Yi Hao had already destroyed the Sea of Beasts and the 500 spirit heaven realm experts. Now, Yi Hao was rushing here. He was looking forward to what kind of expression the beast-sealed emperor would have when he found out the truth. Chapter 1364. How is it? Have you thought it through? As long as you submit to me, I can let you live. The beast monarch said with a smile as he looked at 1,000-pill ancestor. If you want me to submit to you, let me see you destroy the Tian Yuan empire first. 1,000-pill ancestor no longer asked for trouble. Right now, there was no need for him to go against the beast monarch. He only needed to wait for Yi Hao to come and save him. You won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Tian Yuan will definitely be destroyed in front of me. When the beast monarch heard 1,000-pill ancestor's words, he coldly snorted, It won't be long before you see Tian Yuan's blood flowing like a river. After the beast monarch finished speaking, he directly left the cage. Looking at the back of the beast monarch, 1,000-pill ancestor sneered, How sad. He doesn't even know that the subordinates he sent to Tian Yuan have all died. Strange, it's been a few days. Why hasn't Higher sent back any news yet? In the blink of an eye, a few days had passed. The beast monarch couldn't help but feel that something was wrong. A minister carefully glanced at the beast monarch and then carefully said, "Your Majesty, could something have happened to the second prince?" When the beast monarch heard the minister's words, he immediately became angry. "Impudent! My son is leading 500 spirit heaven realm experts. What can happen? If you dare to speak nonsense again, I will take your dog life." Plop! When the minister saw the beast monarch angry, he was immediately shocked. The minister hurriedly knelt on the ground with a plop. "Your Majesty, please calm down. This humble minister knows his mistake. The second prince will definitely be able to wash the Tian Yuan Empire with blood and return in triumph." Well said. How can a mere newly born empire possibly resist my Beast Seal's 500 Spirit Heaven Realm experts? In front of my 500 Spirit Heaven Realm experts, a mere Tian Yuan is an ant that can be trampled on. I guess the second prince is too busy collecting treasures for your Majesty. He hasn't had the time to send back any news. Everyone looked at the beast monarch and spoke one after another. "Haha, wait for my son to come back. All of you will be rewarded." The beast sealing overlord smiled with satisfaction. Right at this moment, a guard walked in from outside the hall and reported, "Your Majesty, the Great Wu Empire's Yu clan has arrived." "What is the Yu family doing here?" The beast monarch frowned after hearing the guard words. The ministers in the hall couldn't help but whisper to each other. Many of them couldn't help but reveal worried expressions. After all, the relationship between the beast monarch and the Great Wu Empire had never been harmonious. Because the Great Wu Empire was close to the Beast Seal Empire, the Beast Seal Empire had been trying to break through to become a fourth-grade empire all these years, but the Great Wu Empire kept interfering. Obviously, the Great Wu Empire believed that if the Beast-Sealed Empire broke through to become a fourth-grade empire, it would definitely affect the Great Wu Empire. Therefore, over the years, although the Great Wu Empire and the Beast-Sealed Empire had not fallen out with each other, the secret struggle between them had never stopped. And now, the Great Wu Empire's people had silently arrived at the Beast-Sealed Empire. This made them nervous. After all, the experts of the Beast-Sealed Empire had been taken away by the second prince. The Beast-Sealed Empire's national strength was empty. If the Great Wu Empire suddenly attacked the Beast-Sealed Empire, then it would be really troublesome. "Your Majesty, the Great Wu Empire's sudden arrival. Will there be an explosion?" A minister said with a worried expression. When everyone heard this, they all revealed worried expressions and looked at the beast monarch. "Your Majesty, Lord Qian is right. The Great Wu Empire's people suddenly came. We have to be on guard. Now that our experts are not here, if the Great Wu Empire takes advantage of the situation, then it won't be good." Everyone looked at the beast monarch and spoke one after another. What are you afraid of? Even if our 500 spiritual heaven realm experts are not here, there is still me. The beast monarch looked at the worried crowd and snorted coldly. At the same time, the beast monarch snorted and directly displayed his powerful aura. Under this powerful aura, the legs of all the ministers couldn't help but tremble. Clearly, the beast monarch's aura was simply too strong. If it wasn't for the fact that the hall was built with special materials, it would probably be destroyed in an instant by the beast monarch's power. However, when they felt the beast monarch's powerful aura, all the ministers let out a sigh of relief. The beast monarch's powerful cultivation had undoubtedly become a stabilizing force in the hearts of all the ministers. How many people did the Great Wu Empire's Yu family send? The beast monarch narrowed his eyes and asked the guard. Hearing the beast monarch's question, the guard quickly replied, "Your Majesty, the Great Wu Empire's Yu family sent a total of 2 people. It seems to be the Yu family's second family head." Did they say what they wanted? The beast monarch continued to ask. They didn't say. They just said that they wished to see your Majesty. The guard said respectfully. The beast monarch pondered for a moment and said, "Let them in." Not long after, the guard walked in with the Yu family's second family head and the others. The Yu family's second family head was called Yuan Hu. He wore a long silver robe and looked rather thin and weak. Even his steps were very slow. If one didn't know better, they would definitely think that Yuan Hu was a sickly person. However, When the beast monarch looked at Yuan Hu, he didn't dare to underestimate him because Yuan Hu was the Yu family's second family head. He was a first-level spirit emperor realm expert. Furthermore, this Yuan Hu wasn't famous for his strength. What was truly famous for was his craftiness. Originally, Yuan Hu had used schemes to kill a first-level spirit emperor realm expert when he was at level 9 spiritual heaven realm. It was also at that time that Yuan Hu's reputation spread. Because of Yuan Hu's intelligence and strength, many people in the Yu family hoped that Yuan Hu would become a member of the Yu family. However, Yuan Hu had a very good relationship with his brother, Yuan Long Yuan, who had never coveted the Yu family's patriarch position. The most shocking thing was that his brother Yuan Long's patriarch position was won by Yuan Hu. Back then, Yuan Hu and his brother were only a side branch of the Yu family and had never been valued. However, Yuan Hu had forcefully eliminated the main branch of the Yu family and allowed his brother to become the patriarch. It could be seen that Yuan Hu's methods were absolutely extraordinary. Therefore, the beast monarch had to take Yuan Hu seriously when he looked at him. Yuan Hu pays his respects to your majesty. Yuan Hu looked at the beast monarch with a smile on his pale face and cupped his fists. Chapter 1365. Second Family Head Yu. There's no need to be so courteous. May I know why Second Family Head Yu has suddenly come to the Beast Sealing Empire? The Beast Sealing Emperor raised his hand and asked Yuan Hu, Your Majesty, may I ask these people to step down? Yuan Hu glanced at the ministers and said to the Beast Sealing Emperor, Your Majesty, please don't. Be careful of his tricks. The ministers of the Beast Sealing Empire hurriedly spoke up when they heard Yuan Hu. A look of disdain flashed across Yuan Hu's face when he heard what the ministers said. Do you think you can stop me if I make a move? You. The ministers in the hall were extremely displeased to be looked down upon by Yuan Hu, but they couldn't refute him. Indeed, if Yuan Hu really wanted to make a move, no one in the hall besides the Beast Sealing Emperor would be a match for him. Therefore, they really couldn't help much by staying here. All right, you may all leave. The Beast Sealing Emperor waved his hands at his ministers. We will take our leave. All the ministers immediately left the hall obediently when they heard the Beast Sealing Emperor's words. Can you speak now? Second Family Head Yu. Why are you looking for me? The Beast Sealing Emperor narrowed his eyes and asked Yuan Hu when he saw everyone leave. I have something that I need to cooperate with your majesty. I wonder if your majesty is interested? Yuan Hu looked at the Beast Sealing Emperor with a smile. Haha, what do we have to cooperate with? The Beast Sealing Emperor couldn't help but laugh when he heard Yuan Hu's words. The Beast Sealing Emperor's laughter contained a hint of mockery. After all, although the relationship between the Beast Sealing Emperor and the Great Wu Empire wasn't like fire and water, there was still constant friction. The Yu family was the most powerful family in the Great Wu Empire. It was hard for him to imagine that the Yu family would actually come to him for cooperation. The Beast Sealing Emperor couldn't help but feel wary. He wondered if the Great Wu Empire was setting up some sort of trap for him. Yuan Hu naturally saw through the Beast Sealing Emperor's thoughts. He didn't try to curry favor with him and went straight to the point. I wonder if your majesty has been troubled by the rise of the Tianyuan Empire recently. What do you mean? Could it be that the Tianyuan Empire is supported by your Yu family? The Beast Monarch's expression changed when he heard Yuan Hu's words. After all, the mention of the Tianyuan Empire reminded him of the pain of having his son killed. After all, Shou Tian was his most beloved son. At the same time, he was the future hope of the Shoufeng Empire. He had originally wanted Shou Tian to eliminate the Tianyuan Empire purely to establish his prestige and prepare for his ascension to the throne. But who would have thought that Shou Tian would never return? How could he not be furious? This made him hate the Tianyuan Empire to the bone. If the Tianyuan Empire was supported by the Yu family, no matter how powerful the Yu family was, he would never let the matter rest. Your majesty, please don't misunderstand. The Tianyuan Empire is our common enemy. Yuan Hu quickly said with a smile when he saw the change in the emperor's expression. Common enemy? What do you mean? As soon as the beast-sealing emperor heard about the Tianyuan Empire, he couldn't hold back the anger in his heart, so he became a little impatient. I'll tell you directly. Something happened to the first young master of the Yu family, Yu Ganglai, when he went to the Tianyuan Empire. Yuan Hu said directly. What? The beast-sealing emperor was shocked when he heard Yuan Hu's words. You mean the young master of the Yu family also died in the Tianyuan Empire? No, no, no. Our young master shouldn't be dead yet, but he should be imprisoned in the Tianyuan Empire. Yuan Hu waved his hand and said, I see. The beast-sealing emperor nodded when he heard Yuan Hu's words. His expression eased a lot, and at the same time, he let out a sigh of relief. To be honest, the beast-sealing emperor was really worried about Yi Hao's Tianyuan Empire. It was supported by the Great Wu Empire. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. But he didn't expect that Yi Hao would be so bold. Not only did he offend him, but he also offended the Yu family of Great Wu. However, the beast-sealing emperor's heart was as clear as a mirror. He also knew why the emperor of Great Wu sent Yu Ganglai to the Tianyuan Empire. The emperor of Great Wu must have the same worries as him. However, the emperor of Great Wu was worried because the Tianyuan Empire was supported by him. Therefore, he felt a little regretful. If he knew this would happen, he wouldn't have sent someone to the Tianyuan Empire. That way, his son wouldn't have died, and the emperor of Great Wu could deal with the Tianyuan Empire. Then what do you mean? The beast-sealing emperor looked at Yuan Hu and asked. The beast-sealing emperor guessed that Yuan Hu must have come to ask him for a favor. Our Yu family knows that your majesty is attacking the Tianyuan Empire. We hope that when you meet our young master, you can return him to us. Yuan Hu cupped his fist and said to the beast-sealing emperor. As expected, when the beast-sealing emperor heard Yuan Hu's words, he deliberately showed a look of hesitation and said, Well, your majesty, don't worry. If you help us, we will remember your majesty's kindness. If your majesty needs our help in the future, please don't hesitate to let us know. Yuan Hu promised the beast-sealing emperor. Haha, since the second master of the Yu family has said so, I naturally can't refuse. The beast-sealing emperor smiled with satisfaction when he heard Yuan Hu's words. After all, if he could make the emperor of Great Wu, Yu family, owe him a favor, this was definitely a good deal. Most importantly, even if Yuan Hu didn't ask, when his people met Yu Ganglai, they wouldn't dare to do anything to him. In the end, they would still have to return Yu Ganglai. Therefore, it was very rare for Yuan Hu to come and ask for help in person. Then I'll thank your majesty here. Yuan Hu also smiled and cupped his fist at the beast-sealing emperor. Men, prepare the banquet. The beast-sealing emperor was in a good mood and directly gave the order. I heard that the beast-sealing emperor put in a lot of effort to deal with the Tianyuan Empire. Yuan Hu looked at the beast-sealing emperor, who was sitting in the main seat of the banquet, and said, To tell you the truth, I've mobilized my entire army this time. The beast-sealing emperor narrowed his eyes and looked at Yuan Hu. The beast-sealing emperor wasn't afraid of exposing his trump card at all. With Yu Ganglai holding him back, he really didn't believe that Yuan Hu would dare to do anything bad. When Yuan Hu heard the beast-sealing emperor's words, his eyes moved slightly, but he still raised his wine cup and smiled at the beast-sealing emperor. Then I'm relieved. Since your majesty has mobilized your entire army, the Tianyuan Empire will definitely lose. Chapter 1366. Your Majesty, someone has sent you a gift. Just a moment ago, someone had sent a gift to the emperor. As the beast-sealing emperor and Yuan Hu were exchanging toasts, a guard walked into the hall and spoke respectfully. What gift? When the emperor of Beast heard the guard's words, he put down his wine cup and asked curiously, I don't know, it's an interspatial ring. The guard held the interspatial ring in his hand and said to the emperor of Beast. The emperor of Beast looked at the interspatial ring and frowned. Who sent it? Yuan Hu also put down his wine cup and squinted his eyes as he looked at the interspatial ring in the guard's hand. It's a man in black. He only said that it was a gift for your majesty. Before we could ask, he left. That person's cultivation is quite strong. Our men couldn't catch up to him. The guard quickly said, The Emperor of Beast waved his hand at the eunuch beside him. The eunuch quickly walked to the guard's side and took the interspatial ring from the guard's hand. The eunuch glanced at the Emperor of Beast. After receiving the Emperor of Beast's signal, he began to check the contents of the interspatial ring. This. The eunuch looked at the contents of the interspatial ring and screamed. He couldn't hold the interspatial ring properly, and it fell to the ground. Impudent, making a fuss over nothing. The Emperor of Beast saw that Yuan, who was still here, and felt that the eunuch's actions were embarrassing him. Your Majesty, inside. The eunuch saw that the Emperor of Beast was angry and immediately knelt on the ground. He looked at the interspatial ring and was so nervous that he couldn't speak. Seeing the eunuch's reaction, Yuan, who was very curious about what was inside the interspatial ring. After all, this eunuch was the Emperor of Beast's subordinate and had seen many things. If it was an ordinary item, it wouldn't be able to scare the eunuch to this extent. This made Yuan who have the urge to pick up the interspatial ring on the ground and take a look. The Emperor of Beast looked at the eunuch's reaction and frowned. He had a bad premonition. With a wave of his hand, the interspatial ring on the ground was wrapped by the Emperor of Beast's power and flew into the Emperor of Beast's hand. The beast-sealing monarch glanced at the eunuch and then at Yuan Hu. When Yuan Hu saw the beast monarch looking at him, he smiled and shifted his gaze to the table in front of him. Only then did the beast-sealing emperor look at the interspatial ring. However, the moment the beast monarch finished looking at the contents of the spatial ring, his entire body began to tremble. Dog, King Yi Hao, I will never forgive you. The beast monarch could no longer control his emotions and roared furiously. Bang, bang, bang on the dining table in front of the beast emperor. The power of the beast emperor was directly crippled and scattered all over the floor. When Yuan Hu saw this scene, he was also shocked, but he hurriedly hid to the side. This made Yuan Hu curious. What exactly was inside this interspatial ring that could make the beast-sealing emperor so angry? Men, kill that 1,000-pill-old ancestor for me. The beast-sealing monarch ordered his subordinates. At this moment, the beast monarch's heart was burning with rage. He didn't want to do anything right now. He only wanted to kill. Only then would he be able to quell his anger. Yes, the group of guards didn't understand why the beast-sealing emperor suddenly became angry. They didn't dare to hesitate and quickly rushed towards the place where the 1,000-pill-old ancestor was imprisoned. Your Majesty, what happened? What made you so angry? Yuan Hu looked at the furious beast-sealing emperor and hesitated for a moment before asking. The beast-sealing emperor looked at Yuan Hu. Originally, he wanted to hide the truth of the matter and directly send him off, because the contents of the interspatial ring are none other than the spirit heaven realm experts that he obtained from the beast-sealing emperor. Now that all the spirit heaven realm experts of his beast-sealing empire are dead, this means that his beast-sealing empire only exists in name. If Yuan Hu knew the truth, and if he had any ill intentions towards the beast-sealing empire, then the beast-sealing empire would die even faster. However, he suddenly felt that since Yi Hao could kill so many of his people, he must have some extraordinary power in his hands. Now that the beast-sealing empire no longer has any power to deal with Yi Hao, he no longer has any confidence in dealing with Yi Hao. Therefore, he must find a strong assistant to deal with Yi Hao. And this Yuan Hu is the most suitable candidate. Second family head Yu, I have something to discuss with you. The beast-sealing emperor waved his hand and dismissed everyone from the beast-sealing empire as he spoke to Yuan Hu. When Yuan Hu heard the beast-sealing emperor's words, his eyes narrowed slightly. This was because he realized that the beast-sealing emperor's attitude towards him had changed. Previously, the beast-sealing emperor had always referred to himself as Your Majesty, but now the beast-sealing emperor had directly changed to I. This was clearly the beast-sealing emperor lowering his status. This made Yuan Hu guess that there must be something in the interspatial ring that could threaten the beast-sealing emperor. And the beast-sealing emperor's attitude towards him had changed. There must be something that he needed his help with. Although Yuan, who had already seen through the beast-sealing emperor's thoughts, he still smiled and said, "Your Majesty, what are you saying? If you need me, Yuan Hu, in any way, please feel free to ask." Yuan Hu's words were very witty. Not only did he express his generosity, he also put an end to the beast-sealing emperor's thoughts of using the Yu family. After all, Yuan, who had already guessed that the beast-sealing emperor wanted to use the Yu family behind him. Haha, second family head Yu, if you don't mind, why don't we call each other brothers in the future? When the beast-sealing emperor heard Yuan Hu's words, he secretly cursed Yuan Hu for being a sly fox. Yuan Hu's words made it difficult for him to speak, so he could only smile and try to curry favor with Yuan Hu. It seems like the beast-sealing empire has encountered a thorny problem this time. Yuan Hu couldn't help but think when he saw the beast-sealing emperor's attitude. To be honest, Yuan Hu already had a bold guess about what was in the interspatial ring. However, he didn't dare confirm it. Of course, Yuan Hu agreed readily to the beast-sealing emperor's words. After all, no matter what, the beast-sealing emperor was powerful. The Yu family wouldn't lose out if they had a good relationship with the beast-sealing emperor. Then, Brother Yu, I won't hide it from you. This time, the troops that the beast-sealing empire sent to the Tianyuan Empire have all been wiped out. The beast-sealing emperor looked at Yuan Hu as he revealed the truth. What? Really? All of them have been wiped out? Although Yuan Hu had already made a bold guess, he was still shocked when the beast-sealing emperor admitted it personally. Chapter 1367. I didn't expect that damned Tianyuan Empire to be so powerful. The beast monarch said angrily and helplessly. Yuan Hu calmed himself down and looked at the beast monarch. Your Majesty, what do you want to do next? I have a presumptuous request. I want the Yu clan to send troops to help. After all, the Tianyuan Empire is our common enemy. The beast monarch said embarrassedly. After saying that, the beast monarch looked at Yuan Hu nervously. After all, he could only place all his hopes on Yuan Hu. If Yuan Hu refused, he really didn't know how to deal with Xia Haoshuan. Brother Beast, the Yu clan will naturally help your beast monarch, Yuan Hu said with a smile. The beast monarch was delighted when he heard this. Brother Yu is really generous. Brother Beast, don't be too happy. You have to think carefully. The strength of the Yu clan is almost equal to that of your beast monarch. Therefore, even if the entire Yu clan mobilizes, we won't be a match for the Tianyuan Empire. Yuan Hu looked at the beast monarch and analyzed. Then what should we do? The beast monarch knew that Yuan Hu's analysis made sense. He couldn't help but look at Yuan Hu anxiously. After all, Yuan Hu was his last life-saving straw. He naturally had to hold on to him tightly. There's only one way now, and that is to ask the Emperor of Great Wu to help. Yuan Hu glanced at the anxious beast monarch and said. The beast monarch frowned when he heard Yuan Hu's words. After all, his beast monarch didn't have a good relationship with the Great Wu Empire. In his opinion, it was impossible to ask the Emperor of Great Wu to help him. I'm afraid the Emperor of Great Wu won't help me, the beast monarch said with a troubled expression. It's obviously impossible to ask the Emperor of Great Wu to help for no reason. Brother Beast, you have to pay a price. Yuan Hu continued. What price? Brother Beast, you have to side with the Emperor of Great Wu. What? The price is too high. After hearing Yuan Hu's words, the beast monarch instantly lost his calm. What a joke. Pledging allegiance to the Emperor of Great Wu was tantamount to submitting to him, and the entire Beast Seal Empire would become a vassal state of Great Wu. How could he agree to that? Before this, he had been thinking of upgrading the Beast Seal Empire to the 4th grade and competing with the Great Wu Empire. Brother Beast, you have to think this through. Only the Emperor of Great Wu can save you now. Otherwise, his empire will be completely wiped out by the Tianyuan Empire. Brother Beast, don't you want to avenge your subordinates and son? Yuan Hu looked at Emperor Beast and continued to persuade him. After all, if he could bestow the title of Emperor Beast and draw him to the Emperor of Great Wu's side, it would definitely be a great merit, and it would further solidify Yu Clan's position in Great Wu. Therefore, Yuanhu hoped very much that the Emperor of Beasts would submit to Great Wu. The Beast Monarch fell silent when he heard Yuanhu's words. Indeed, he had no other way out now. Only by submitting to Great Wu could his Beast Seal empire linger on at death's door. Because even if Yi Hao didn't make trouble for him, with the current strength of his Beast Seal empire, it was completely an empty shell. At that time, not to mention the Emperor of Great Wu, even if Yu Clan attacked him, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Therefore, whether it was for revenge or for the sake of his Beast Seal empire, submitting to the Great Wu Empire was his best way out. Fine, for the sake of revenge, I'll believe Brother Yu and submit to Great Wu's Emperor. The Beast Monarch clenched his teeth and said to Yuanhu. Yuanhu was overjoyed when he heard the Beast Monarch's words, but his expression was still very calm. Very well, let me contact Clan Master first, so that Great Wu's Emperor can send reinforcements. As he spoke, he took out a voice-transmitting talisman. Your Majesty, please wait a moment. Second brother has sent me a voice transmission. At this moment, in a study of Great Wu, Yuan Long was playing chess with the Emperor of Great Wu when he suddenly spoke respectfully. He knew that Yuanhu had gone to the Beast Seal Empire, and he was afraid that the Emperor had sent him a voice transmission, so he was anxious to check it out. The Emperor of Great Wu nodded when he heard Yu Wanlong's words. After reading the message, Yu Wanlong's face lit up with joy, and he said to the Emperor, "Congratulations, Your Majesty." "Congratulations." "Oh, may I know why my dear minister is so happy?" The Emperor of Great Wu looked at Yu Wanlong's happy face and couldn't help but ask curiously. "Your Majesty, the Beast Seal Empire is willing to submit to Great Wu," Yu Wanlong said excitedly. Clack! When the Emperor of Great Wu heard Yu Wanlong's words, the chess piece in his hand fell on the chessboard. He couldn't help but look at Yu Wanlong excitedly. Is what my dear minister said true? The Emperor of Great Wu had coveted the Beast Seal Empire for a long time, but he had never found the right opportunity to make a move. Besides, if he acted rashly, Great Wu would also suffer a great loss. However, he had never given up the idea of attacking the Beast Seal Empire. As long as he could subdue the Beast Seal Empire, Great Wu would have a greater chance of becoming a fifth-grade empire. However, he didn't expect that the Beast Seal Empire would take the initiative to submit before he could do anything. How could he not be happy about that? "No matter how bold I am, I dare not deceive Your Majesty." Yu Wanlong looked at the Emperor of Great Wu and said with a smile, "Tell me, my dear minister, how did you make the Beast Seal Empire submit to you?" The Emperor of Great Wu looked at Yu Wanlong curiously and asked. The Emperor of Great Wu was not stupid. He knew that the Beast Seal Empire would never submit so easily. There must be a secret behind it. "Your Majesty, do you still remember the Tianyuan Empire that appeared some time ago?" Yu Wanlong suddenly put away the smile on his face and asked with a serious expression. "Of course I do. Weren't you the one who destroyed it?" The Emperor frowned slightly when he heard Yu Wanlong's words. Yu Wanlong's face showed a touch of bitterness. "Your Majesty, you don't know that my son did not destroy the Tianyuan Empire. Instead, he was captured by the Tianyuan Empire." "What? Why did I know about this?" The Emperor of Great Wu frowned when he heard Yu Wanhu's words, and a powerful aura emanated from his body. "Please calm down, Your Majesty. I want to solve this kind of trivial matter by myself. I didn't want to trouble Your Majesty, so I sent my second brother to the Tianyuan Empire, but I didn't expect the Tianyuan Empire to be so unexpectedly powerful that even the Beast Seal Empire is no match for it," Yu Wanlong said in amazement. Chapter 1368. What? Even the Beast Seal Empire is no match for the Tianyuan Empire? How is that possible? Didn't the Tianyuan Empire just become a first-grade empire? The Emperor of Great Wu was shocked when he heard Yu Wanlong's words. After all, he was afraid of the strength of the Beast Seal Empire. Although the Beast Seal Empire was only a third-grade empire, it was only one step away from becoming a fourth-grade empire. With such strength, he was actually not a match for a rank 1 empire. How could he accept this? Your Majesty, my second brother sent a message. 500 spiritual heaven realm experts of the Beast Seal Empire went to Tianyuan, and all of them were killed. Yuan Long told him the content of Yu Wenhu's voice transmission. At this moment, Yuan Long's heart was filled with shock, just like the Emperor of Great Wu. After all, a newly promoted first-grade empire almost wiped out a quasi-fourth-grade empire. This was simply heaven-defying. Unfortunately, what they didn't know was that Yi Hao's Tianyuan Empire became a second-grade empire on the day it was promoted. What does the Beast Seal Emperor mean? The Emperor of Great Wu asked after recovering from his shock. Your Majesty, the Beast Seal Emperor hopes that your Majesty will send troops to wipe out Tianyuan, and he will submit to your Majesty forever. Yuan Long said quickly. Wiping out Tianyuan, and the Beast Seal Emperor will submit. It doesn't seem like a loss. The Emperor of Great Wu said after pondering for a moment. Of course, the Emperor of Great Wu didn't attack Tianyuan just to subdue the Beast Seal Emperor. It was because he sensed a trace of danger from the Tianyuan Empire. The Tianyuan Empire had only been promoted for a short time, but it had already caused great damage to the Beast Seal Empire. If it continued to be discovered, it would certainly threaten the status of Great Wu. So, your Majesty means to attack. Yuan Long couldn't help but look at the Emperor of Great Wu when he heard his words. Summon all the spiritual heaven realm experts from all the clans. Send a group of them to wipe out Tianyuan. The Emperor of Great Wu made up his mind and gave the order directly. Yes, Your Majesty. Yuan Long bowed and obeyed the Emperor's order. Your Majesty, that 1,000-pill patriarch has been rescued. In the palace of Beast Seal Emperor, a guard hurriedly ran to the Emperor and reported. What the hell are you guys doing? How could you save someone? The Beast Sealing Emperor was furious when he heard the guard's words. Brother Beast, don't worry about it. Hurry up and activate your Imperial City's array formation. Yuan Hu's eyes flashed as he hurriedly said to Emperor Beast. This was because Yuan Hu had a feeling that something was amiss. Although he had just received news that the Emperor of Great Wu had agreed to send troops to the rescue of the Beast-Sealed Empire, it would still take time for the people of Great Wu to get here. It would be interesting if Yi Hao killed him and the Beast King before the people from the Great Wu Empire arrived. The Beast Emperor was stunned when he heard Yuan Hu's words. Then, he quickly reacted. The Beast Monarch took out a purple token and tossed it into the air. At this moment, the 1,000-pill ancestor, who had been rescued by Zhou Dong, saw the token flying behind him and hurriedly shouted, Not good! The Beast Sealing Emperor is going to start the formation. Sir, quickly shoot that token. All right. When Zhou Dong heard the 1,000-Dan ancestor's words, he immediately took out his bow and arrow. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The speed at which Zhou Dong drew the bow and knocked the arrow was completely completed in the time it took for a spark to fly off a piece of flint. The 3 arrows were shot together and directly shot toward the command plate that was flying in the air. Bang, bang, bang. The 3 arrows accurately hit the token. However, the token exploded with 3 dazzling rays of light and directly knocked the 3 arrows away. This is bad. There is an expert protecting that token. It will be very difficult to destroy it. Zhou Dong's expression turned grave when he saw that the token was still intact. At this moment, Zhou Dong did not know what to do. Because Yi Hao was afraid that the 1,000-pill ancestor would make a move, he let him go first and rescue the 1,000-pill ancestor. As for why he gave all the corpses to the Beast-Sealing Emperor, it was because he really could not find the 1,000-pill ancestor. Fortunately, he expected the Beast-Sealing Emperor to be angry and send people to kill the 1,000-pill ancestor. Therefore, he simply followed behind those people and rescued the 1,000-pill ancestor. However, he did not expect the Beast-Sealing Emperor to open the array of the Beast-Sealing Imperial City as soon as he rescued the 1,000-pill ancestor. Then let's get out of here quickly. The Beast-Sealing Emperor's array must be powerful. Seeing that Zhou Dong could not destroy the token, The thousand-pill ancestor hurriedly said to Zhou Dong. After all, if the array was opened, they would become turtles in a jar. It would be difficult for them to leave. All right. When Zhou Dong heard the thousand-pill ancestor's words, he put away his bow and arrow and quickly rushed out of the imperial city with the thousand-pill ancestor. Phew, that was close. The beast-sealing emperor also broke out in a cold sweat. If it were not for Yuan Hu's timely reminder, he and Yuan Hu would have used their power to protect the token. At this moment, the token would have been destroyed. If the token was destroyed, he wouldn't be able to open the array formation. Yuan Hu narrowed his eyes at this moment, thinking rapidly in his mind. Suddenly, Yuan Hu opened his eyes and said anxiously, "Quick, the Tianyuan Empire should have found one person. Let's attack and kill him." "Brother Yu, how do you know there's only one person?" The beast-sealing emperor could not help but be curious when he heard Yuan Hu's words. "I'll tell you as we chase." Before Yuan Hu finished his words, he had already rushed over. The beast-sealing emperor did not dare to hesitate and quickly chased after him. How is it? If there are many people from the Tianyuan Empire, they will definitely try their best to destroy the token or attack us. But they didn't. This means that the person who attacked just now knows that he is no match for us. So he must be escaping from the imperial city. Yuan Hu directly told the beast-sealing emperor his thoughts. Brother Yu is indeed smart. The beast-sealing emperor could not help but admire Yuan Hu when he heard Yuan Hu's words. "Brother Beast, can you open the array quickly?" Yuan Hu could not help but urge the beast-sealing emperor. This was because Yuan Hu could tell that Zhou Dong's cultivation was at the first level of the Spirit Emperor realm from the arrow that Zhou Dong had shot just now. He believed that there were not many Spirit Emperor realm experts in the Tianyuan Empire. Therefore, if he could eliminate a Spirit Emperor realm expert from the Tianyuan Empire, it would be equivalent to weakening the Tianyuan Empire's strength. This was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so he did not want to waste it. The beast-sealing emperor was also extremely anxious, but when he heard Yuan Hu's words, he felt somewhat helpless. This array is too large, and it requires a large number of Spirit Heaven Realm experts to help me activate it. Now that I'm the only one activating it, its speed has already reached its limit. Chapter 1369. When Yuan Hu heard the Beast Emperor's words, he felt helpless. He had to admit that the Beast-Sealing Empire had no experts. This was a fatal flaw. Yuan Hu and the Beast Emperor could only continue to chase after Zhou Dong. If this wasn't the Beast-Sealing Imperial City, I would have taught him a lesson. The Beast Emperor snorted coldly. One had to know that his beast-sealing empire started by summoning magical beasts. Therefore, he still had a few powerful magical beasts under his command. However, the beast-sealing imperial palace was below. If he summoned the magical beasts, it would definitely harm his people. With the two of us attacking, they won't be able to escape. Yuan Hu's tone was full of confidence. Soon, under Yuan Hu and the Beast Emperor's urgent pursuit, the two of them saw the figures of Zhou Dong and the Beast Emperor. Yuan Hu and the Beast Monarch were overjoyed. When the thousand-pill ancestors saw Yuan Hu and the Beast Emperor chasing after them, he couldn't help but say anxiously, "Sir, if you run with me, it will affect your speed. Quickly leave me behind and leave by yourself." "Leave you behind? Absolutely not. His Majesty ordered me to save you. I must do it." Zhou Dong saw the two people chasing behind him. Although he was anxious, his attitude was very firm. "Bold bastard, where do you think you're going? Leave your life here today." The Beast Emperor looked at Zhou Dong and the thousand-pill ancestor and shouted, "What's the point of talking nonsense with them? Just kill them." As soon as Yuan Hu's voice fell, the long spear in his hand shot towards Zhou Dong's back. Oh no! Zhou Dong's heart sank. He quickly took out his weapon with his right hand and began to block Yuan Hu's long spear. Clang! Just as Zhou Dong's weapon was about to collide with Yuan Hu's weapon, a golden mace suddenly collided with Yuan Hu's long spear. "Who is it?" Yuan Hu saw Hu Yinjue suddenly appear in front of him and was shocked. Hu Yinjue. When Zhou Dong saw Hu Yinjue appear, he was delighted. Sir Zhou, His Majesty asked me to come and help you. His Majesty will be here soon. Hu Yinzhua looked at Zhou and said, Great. Zhou is very happy to hear Hu Yinzhua's words. Not good. That Yi Hao is coming. What should we do? Hearing Hu Yinzhua's words, the beast monarch's eyes flashed with a hint of worry. Retreat first. Yuan Hu pondered for a moment and quickly said to the beast monarch, All right. When the beast monarch heard Yuan Hu's words, he quickly retreated with Yuan Hu. Clearly, the beast monarch and Yuan Hu were worried that with their strength, they were no match for Yi Hao. Don't let them get away. Quickly chase after them. Zhou Dong quickly shouted when he saw the beast-sealing monarch and Yuan Hu trying to escape. When Hu Yinzhua heard Zhou Dong's words, he quickly said, Lord Zhou Dong, please leave this place quickly. I was just lying to them. His Majesty didn't say anything. What? Zhou Dong was startled when he heard Hu Yinzhua's words. He quickly said, Then let's leave this place quickly. We won't be able to leave once the array formation is fully activated. Not good. We were tricked. Yuan Hu was constantly paying attention to the movements behind him. When he didn't see Zhou Dong and the others chasing after them, his face changed. F***CK. Those bastards are so despicable. Quickly chase after them. The beast monarch couldn't help but curse when he heard Yuan Hu's words. One must know that it was an excellent opportunity to kill Zhou Dong and the others. That way, they would be able to greatly reduce Yi Hao's forces. The more the beast monarch thought about it, the more frustrated he felt. With that, the beast monarch wanted to chase after them again. Don't chase after them. It's too late. Yuan Hu quickly stopped the beast monarch. Then what should we do now? I can't let them get away just like that. The beast monarch looked at Yuan Hu and asked anxiously, I reckon that Yi Hao will be here soon. If we chase after them now, I'm afraid we'll be in danger. Right now, we can only rely on this array formation to hold on and wait for reinforcements. Yuan Hu spoke his thoughts. Don't worry, the array formation of my Beast Monarch Empire can definitely withstand the attack of a high-level Spirit Emperor Realm expert. According to the strength of those people, just now, Yi Hao definitely doesn't have any high-level Spirit Emperor Realm experts. The Beast Monarch said confidently when he heard Yuan Hu's words. Obviously, the Beast Monarch was full of confidence in the teleportation array of his Beast Monarch Empire. Haha, then everything is ready. We just need reinforcements. Yuan Hu laughed with satisfaction when he heard the Beast Monarch's words. By the way, how many reinforcements did the Emperor of Great Wu send? Overlord B-Seal looked at Yuan Hu and asked worriedly, You must know that B-Seal, had 500 Spirit Heaven Realm experts, and all of them were killed. This means that the strength of the Tianyuan Empire is definitely not weak. Hee, you're still worried about the Emperor of Great Wu? I won't hide it from you. The Emperor of Great Wu sent a total of 1,000 Spirit Heaven Realm experts. Among them, 700 are low-level experts, 200 are mid-level experts, and 100 are high-level experts. Yuan Hu laughed when he heard the Beast Monarch's worried question. His so many. The Beast Monarch couldn't help but gasp when he heard Yuan Hu's words. There's nothing we can do about it. After all, Yi Hao's subordinates are quite strong. The Emperor of Great Wu naturally can't be careless. He must show full confidence. Yuan Hu said with a hint of pride in his tone. Obviously, he was very satisfied when he saw the Beast Monarch's surprised expression. I really didn't expect the Great Wu Empire to develop so strong. The Beast Monarch's heart was filled with shock. At the same time, there was a trace of loneliness on his face. He had always thought that he had a chance to catch up with the Great Wu Empire. However, when the Great Wu Empire attacked at this moment, he knew the difference between him and the Great Wu Empire. Putting everything else aside, just the 1,000 Spirit Heaven Realm experts sent by the Emperor of Great Wu this time was something that the Beast Monarch couldn't afford. At this moment, the Beast Monarch was still rejoicing that he didn't fall out with the Great Wu Empire. Otherwise, his Beast Monarch would have no resistance in front of the Great Wu Empire, unless he used a formation to hide in the imperial city of the Beast Monarch. However, that was still possible for a year or two. After a long time, the beast monarch would still be trapped by the Great Wu Empire. But now, instead of being defeated by the Great Wu Empire, he was defeated by a newly rising empire. Even his beast monarch had become an empty shell, and he had to borrow the power of the Emperor of Great Wu. This made him feel very uncomfortable. All right, don't think that I don't know. If Brother Beast wants to continue recruiting Spirit Heaven Realm experts, I dare not say too many, but 400 to 500 of them will definitely not be a problem for you. Yuanhu glanced at the Beast Monarch and said, Chapter 1370. Hearing Yuanhu's words, a bitter smile appeared on the Emperor's face. Recruiting 400 to 500 spiritual heaven realm experts is easy to say, but the amount of resources required is simply astronomical. After all, those experts were not stupid. If you didn't offer enough benefits, how could they submit to you and obey your orders obediently? Don't worry. When we defeat Yi Hao, we will work together. I can guarantee that your beast-sealed empire will not be weaker than before. Yuanhu looked at the Emperor and said with a smile. Hearing Yuanhu's words, the Emperor only glanced at him a few times but didn't say anything. He knew that if he wanted to offend Yuanhu and get help from the Emperor of Great Wu, he would have to pay a huge price. At the very least, he wouldn't have so much freedom in the future. However, he knew that he would have to pay a huge price, but he had to cooperate with Yuanhu and Great Wu. If he didn't cooperate, he wouldn't be able to deal with Yi Hao, and he wouldn't be able to take revenge. Therefore, in order to deal with Yi Hao, in order to take revenge, he had to stand on the same side as Yuanhu and Great Wu. Greetings, Your Majesty. Zhou Dong led the thousand-pill ancestor to Yi Hao and bowed respectfully. Yi Hao looked directly at thousand-pill ancestor and asked with concern, Are you all right? Thank you for your concern, Your Majesty. It's just some superficial wounds. I'll be fine after a little rest. Thousand Pill Ancestor quickly replied. To be honest, Thousand Pill Ancestor was moved when he saw the mighty crowd behind Yi Hao. To be honest, he didn't expect that Yi Hao would use so much power to save him. How's the imperial city of the beast-sealed empire? Yi Hao was relieved when he saw that Thousand Pill Ancestor was fine, and then asked, Your Majesty, the Emperor of Beast-Sealed Empire has activated the defensive array of the imperial city. It seems that he's waiting for reinforcements. Zhou Dong hurriedly said, Waiting for reinforcements? Waiting for reinforcements from whom? Yi Hao frowned when he heard Zhou Dong's words. If this subordinate is not wrong, then the Beast-Sealing Emperor should have reached an agreement with the Great Wu Empire. Just as Yi Hao was puzzled, the Thousand Pill Ancestor spoke up. How do you know? When Yi Hao heard Thousand Pill Ancestor's words, he looked at him curiously. After all, according to his understanding, the relationship between the Beast-Sealed Empire and the Great Wu Empire wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. Usually, the Beast-Sealed Empire and the Great Wu Empire were in constant conflict. Yi Hao could not figure out why the Beast-Sealed Empire and Great Wu would suddenly stand on the same side. Just now, I saw the second patriarch of the Yu family, Yuanhu. If I'm not wrong, this matter should be related to the Yu family. The Thousand Pill Ancestor looked at Yi Hao and said, So that's how it is. When Yi Hao heard Thousand Pill Old Ancestor's words, he had a look of sudden realization. After all, as the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It was normal for the Beast-Sealed Empire and the Great Wu Empire to join forces to deal with him. At this moment, Yi Hao didn't know whether he should be happy or unhappy. He didn't expect that he would have such a great reputation that the Beast-Sealed Empire and the Great Wu Empire would join forces to deal with him. According to your analysis, how many people can the Great Wu Empire send to help the Beast-Sealed Empire? Yi Hao looked at the crowd and asked. This we can't say for sure. When Elder Yin and the others heard Yi Hao's question, they all shook their heads. Thousand Pill Ancestor pondered for a moment and said, I think the Great Wu Empire can send 800 to 1,000 spiritual heaven realm warriors. Oh, why? When Yi Hao heard the numbers reported by Thousand Pill Ancestor, he couldn't help but ask curiously. Hearing Yi Hao's question, thousand pill ancestor analyzed. It's not because of anything else, but because your majesty has just destroyed 500 spiritual heaven realm warriors of the beast-sealed empire. This means that the Great Wu Empire won't dare to underestimate your majesty. They will definitely send no less than 500 spiritual heaven realm warriors. And this time, the Great Wu Empire's goal is definitely not only to destroy us, but also to intimidate the beast-sealed empire. Therefore, they must send a number that can shock the beast-sealed emperor. Therefore, I think that the Great Wu Empire will definitely send no less than 800 spiritual heaven realm warriors. It is very likely that it will reach 1,000. When Yi Hao heard thousand pill ancestors analysis, he directly nodded. Obviously, he agreed with thousand pill ancestors analysis. Your Majesty, if the Great Wu Empire really sent 1,000 spiritual heaven realm warriors, then in terms of numbers, wouldn't we be at a disadvantage? Ewing looked at Yi Hao and couldn't help but ask with a worried tone. Don't forget, our people are all at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. Unless the 1,000 people from the Great Wu Empire are also at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm, they still won't be our match. When Yi Hao heard Yu Ying's worry, he smiled and said, one had to know that Yi Hao had also asked Yu Ganglai about the Great Wu Empire situation. According to Yu Ganglai, the Great Wu Empire definitely had less than 200 peak spiritual heaven realm warriors. Therefore, even if the Great Wu Empire sent all 200 peak spiritual heaven realm warriors, he still wouldn't be afraid. When Yu Ying heard Yi Hao's words, he was first stunned, then he scratched his head in embarrassment. To be honest, if it wasn't for Yi Hao's reminder, he would have almost forgotten that Yi Hao's subordinates were all at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. After all, who could rise as quickly as Yi Hao? This was simply rare in the world. This was also why Yi Hao was so confident in fighting against the Great Wu Empire, because Yi Hao believed that even the Great Wu Empire couldn't take out so many peak spiritual heaven realm warriors. To be honest, at this moment, Yu Ying and the others were excited and their blood was boiling. After all, the Tianyuan Empire was only a second-grade empire. Now, they were going to fight against third and fourth-grade empires. This was definitely something that not many empires could do. Without a doubt, if Yi Hao won this battle, his reputation would immediately soar. Your Majesty, are we going to send out troops now and destroy the beast-sealed empire? Everyone looked at Yi Hao and asked. At this moment, everyone's tone was filled with impatience. There's no hurry. The reason why the Great Wu Empire dares to send out troops now is because they don't know how many people we have left. They have the confidence to destroy us. But if they know that we still have so many people, they might not dare to come. Yi Hao glanced at the people behind him and said, Your Majesty, then what should we do now? When everyone heard Yi Hao's words, they asked curiously. Chapter 1371. Everyone, listen up. Give him a surprise. Attack the defensive formation with all your might. Yi Hao led everyone to the imperial city of the sealed beast empire. Looking at the defensive formation in front of him, he directly ordered the people behind him. Kill. After hearing Xia Haoshuan's order, the 80 to 90 experts at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm behind Yi Hao roared in unison. They activated their strongest attacks and blasted towards the teleportation formation. Your Majesty, isn't this a bit too impulsive? Hearing Yi Hao's words, the thousand-pill ancestor couldn't help but wipe away his cold sweat. What a joke. How could he underestimate something that could become the sealed beast empire's defensive formation? He was really worried that everyone's attacks would suffer a backlash when they landed on the formation. If a man isn't impulsive, can he still be called a man? Yi Hao couldn't help but ask with a smile when he heard the thousand-pill ancestor's words. What the hell is this? The thousand-pill ancestor was completely dumbfounded when he heard Xia Haoshuan's words. Rumble. As everyone's attacks collided with the formation, a huge rumbling sound was heard. For a moment, the ground began to shake. The defensive barrier of the formation also trembled violently, but it quickly calmed down. But in the next second, a powerful force suddenly erupted from the defensive barrier and attacked the 80 to 90 people. Not good. There really is a backlash. When the thousand-pill ancestor saw this scene, his expression suddenly changed, and he couldn't help but exclaim. When Yi Hao saw this scene, he was already prepared. He directly ordered Zhou Dong and the other two, "Block this wave of backlash for me." Yes. Zhou Dong and the other two rushed out when they heard Yi Hao's order. Bang! Rumble! Although the power of the backlash was strong, it couldn't withstand the joint attack of Zhou Dong and the other two spiritual emperors and the 80 to 90 experts at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. In merely an instant, the powerful backlash was shattered into smithereens. Phew, it was actually blocked. The thousand-pill ancestor spat out a mouthful of turbid air when he saw the destroyed backlash. After all, now that the experts of the Great Wu Empire had attacked, he didn't want to see Yi Hao's subordinates get hurt. As the saying goes, one more person is one more power. All these people were the capital to deal with the Great Wu Empire. What's going on? Yuan, who was sitting in the palace. When he heard the loud noise, he frowned. The beast-sealing monarch's expression changed as he rushed out of the hall. Not good. The array is under attack. Yuan, whose expression turned dangerous when he heard the beast-sealing emperor's words. To be honest, Yuan, who regretted coming to the beast-sealed empire at the wrong time. He had put himself in danger. It would take some time for the Great Wu Empire's reinforcements to arrive. If Yi Hao brought his men to attack, he really didn't know what to do. Yuan, who pondered for a moment before chasing after the beast-sealing emperor. He could only pray that the beast-sealing emperor's nation-protecting formation would be strong enough. Who is Emperor Tianyuan? The beast-sealing emperor looked at the 100 people in front of him and heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the situation was much better than he had imagined. If Yi Hao still brought 400 to 500 spiritual heaven realm experts, his teleportation formation might not be able to withstand it. Brother Beast, it seems that although your beast-sealing empire has suffered heavy losses, the Tianyuan Empire isn't doing well either. Yuan, who caught up and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the number of enemies. After all, an unknown enemy was the most terrifying. He had always been worried about how many spiritual heaven realm experts Yi Hao had under his command. Fortunately, this number was completely within his acceptable range. In his opinion, even if Yi Hao's subordinates were all at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm, they wouldn't be a match for his Great Wu Empire's 1,000 spiritual heaven realm experts. Most importantly, how could Yi Hao's men all be at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm? That wasn't realistic at all. I am. Yi Hao answered the beast-sealing emperor's question. What? Your Emperor Tianyuan? No matter if it was the beast-sealing emperor or Yuan Hu, they were both shocked when they heard Yi Hao's words. Obviously, they found it hard to imagine that the man who had recently stirred up trouble in the nearby empires was actually so young. The beast-sealing emperor found it even harder to accept that so many of his spiritual heaven realm experts had died in the hands of such a young man. Could it be that this person had an expert backing him? The two of them looked at each other and thought at the same time. Most importantly, the two of them glanced at Yi Hao's cultivation and realized that Yi Hao's cultivation hadn't even reached the spiritual heaven realm. If Yi Hao was the successor of the Tianyuan Empire and had such a low cultivation, they could still reluctantly accept it. But Yi Hao was the founder of the Tianyuan Empire. A person with such a low cultivation was actually able to create an empire. How could they accept this? In their eyes, this was simply the biggest joke in the world. Therefore, they thought that Yi Hao was just a puppet. F***CK. What's with the look in these two old farts' eyes? They're looking down on me. Yi Hao looked at their disdainful eyes and was instantly displeased. Originally, he wanted to play with these two for a while longer. But now he changed his mind. He wanted to tell these two that if they dared to look down on him, they would end up in a miserable state. I want you to break this damn formation in the shortest time possible. Yi Hao directly ordered everyone. After Yi Hao finished speaking, he waved his hand and made a table appear. He sat down and picked up the fruits on the table to eat. Those who knew him would know that he was here to attack the city. Those who didn't know would think that he was here to watch a show. F***CK. Why do I think that kid is asking for a beating? The beast-sealing emperor looked at Yi Hao with his legs crossed and said coldly, I don't know where this spoiled brat came from. He thinks that he's invincible just because he has some backing and some power. Yuan Hu said with disdain. To Yuan Hu, the people he hated the most were spoiled brats like Yi Hao. He didn't have any abilities and relied on his background to be arrogant. Yuan Hu swore that as long as the Great Wu Empire's 1,000 spiritual heaven realm experts arrived, Yi Hao would definitely be scared shitless. Brother Yuan, let's watch the performance of these idiots. They want to break the protective formation? Wishful thinking. The beast-sealing emperor snorted coldly and waved his hand to make a table and chair, inviting Yuan Hu to sit down. He was full of confidence in the protective formation. With less than 100 spiritual heaven realm experts, there was no hope of breaking it. By the time the protective formation ran out of energy, the Great Wu Empire's people would have already arrived. Therefore, Yi Hao was undoubtedly a clown in front of him. He wanted to enjoy the performance. Chapter 1372. That's fine too. Let's watch this kid die while drinking and chatting. Yuan Hu didn't stand on ceremony with the Beast Emperor's invitation and directly sat down. I want to see what kind of expression this kid will have when he turns from a winner to a loser, the Beast Emperor said angrily. Every time he looked at Yi Hao, he wished he could cut Yi Hao into 1,000 pieces. Thinking about those 500 spirit heaven realm warriors, that was the entire strength of his beast-sealed empire. How many resources and how much effort did he spend to nurture them? But Yi Hao was destroyed just like that, not even leaving a trace. And 2 of his sons also died in Yi Hao's hands. Therefore, the enmity between him and Yi Hao was irreconcilable. Kill. 80 to 90 experts at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm roared in unison as they attacked the nation-protecting formation. Rumble. Just like before, the nation-protecting array and the ground trembled violently. Who is this kid? All of his subordinates are actually peak spirit heaven realm experts. The Beast Emperor sucked in a breath of cold air. Just now, he couldn't detect everyone's cultivation at once. But now that everyone was attacking with all their strength, all of their cultivations were exposed. They were undoubtedly peak spirit heaven realm experts. Nearly 100 peak spirit heaven realm experts. Even when his beast-sealed empire was at its peak, he didn't have this many. If it were 200 to 300 high-level spirit heaven realm warriors, he could still accept it. But these 100 peak spirit heaven realm experts were definitely much more terrifying than 200 to 300 high-level spirit heaven realm warriors. Brother Beast, are you sure this nation-protecting array can hold on? Yuan Hu put down the wine cup in his hand and looked at the Beast Emperor with a worried expression, although he was also shocked by the cultivation of these people. But what he was more concerned about was whether the nation-protecting array could hold on or not. F***CK. It was trembling so violently that it made his little heart beat fast. He really doubted if this array was as powerful as the beast-sealed empire boasted. Don't worry, unless the number of these people doubles, the array will definitely be fine. Hearing Yuan Hu's worries, the beast-sealing monarch was full of confidence in the nation-protecting array. One had to know that this kingdom-protecting formation was the most precious treasure left behind by his ancestor. It had allowed the sealed beast empire to avoid destruction many times. This time, he still believed that the array formation could withstand it. I hope so. Seeing the beast monarch's confidence in the array formation, Yuan Hu relaxed a little. Just wait and see. The backlash from a nation-protecting array is not something that can be easily endured. The beast overlord looked at Yi Hao and the others with disdain. Yuan Hu also quickly looked at the crowd. He wanted to see if the array of the sealed beast empire was really that powerful. As everyone watched on, the kingdom-protecting formation once again stabilized and exploded out with a powerful energy, blasting towards everyone. Yuan Hu was shocked when he saw this. He looked at the backlash force of the array. It was at least as strong as the attack of a mid-level spirit emperor. If it were him, he would not be able to withstand the backlash. He finally knew why the beast-sealing monarch was so confident in the array formation. If this array formation really wanted to break, it would take at least a high-level spirit emperor. To be honest, he was a little envious of the beast-sealing monarch. He had such a powerful array formation. It was equivalent to having an extra life-saving talisman. If the Yuan clan had such a powerful array formation, it would undoubtedly increase the Yuan clan's room for development. Right now, he was rather curious as to how these people were able to withstand the backlash from the formation earlier. Just as Yuan was wondering, Zhou Dong and the other two beside Yi Hao suddenly moved. Zhou Dong and the other two's movements were more frequent than before. They directly attacked and destroyed the backlash force. How is that possible? Yuan was stunned when he saw Zhou Dong and the others cooperate so well. Don't worry. With their current cooperation, no matter how well they cooperate, they can't destroy the nation-protecting formation. The beast-sealing monarch's tone was full of confidence. As far as he was concerned, Yi Hao and the others were lacking in strength. The attack speed of these people couldn't keep up with the recovery speed of a nation-protecting formation. Your Majesty, it seems that this nation-protecting formation is indeed powerful. It won't be that easy to break it. Thousand Pill Ancestor looked at Yi Hao and said with a worried tone. Time was money now. The beast-sealing monarch and Yuan, who were both very strong. They must not be allowed to join the reinforcements. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome. Yi Hao looked at the nation-protecting formation in front of him and felt rather regretful. If he had increased his cultivation as a formation refining master, breaking the array in front of him would be a piece of cake. Unfortunately, for a very long period of time, he had forgotten about refining formations. However, it was clearly too late for him to cultivate the refining array now. Yi Hao swore that after destroying the beast-sealing monarch in front of him, he must not be lazy. He still had to improve his profession cultivation. He also knew that he couldn't continue to delay. After all, Spirit Emperor realm experts were still quite troublesome for him. He wasn't sure how many more Spirit Emperors the Great Wu Empire would send. Therefore, he had to hurry up and destroy as many as he could. What should I do? Yi Hao thought quickly in his heart. Of course, there was the most direct way now, and that was to mobilize some peak Spirit Heaven realm experts. That way, it would be easy to destroy the formation. But if he did that, it would directly destroy his original plan. Moreover, if the Great Wu Empire knew that there were more warriors in his hands, he was worried that the Great Wu Empire would withdraw their troops. Therefore, for a moment, Yi Hao couldn't help but be in a dilemma. Haha, Brother Yuan, did you see that? That kid's brows are already furrowed. The arrogance from before is gone. It could be said that the beast-sealing monarch's attention had always been on Yi Hao. When he saw Yi Hao frown, he couldn't help but laugh proudly. In his opinion, this was clearly a sign that Yi Hao was helpless against his nation-protecting formation. This was the result he wanted. What he loved to see the most now was Yi Hao being defeated. As long as the reinforcements arrive, he won't just be frowning. At that time, it will probably be time for him to cry. Yuan, who saw Yi Hao frown, and also revealed a smile on his face. In the beginning, he was still worried that the formation wouldn't be able to hold on. But at this moment, the worry in his heart had disappeared. Come, let's celebrate in advance. The beast-sealing monarch raised his wine cup and said to Yuan, wait a minute, what is that kid doing? Yuan didn't raise his wine cup. Instead, he frowned and looked at Yi Hao. Chapter 1373. When the Beast Emperor heard Yuan's words, he immediately turned his gaze to Yi Hao. He saw that a jade seal had appeared in Yi Hao's hand. What is he trying to do with that jade seal? The Beast Emperor looked at Yi Hao, momentarily at a loss. The fatal blow is effective against people. I wonder if it will be effective against arrays. Yi Hao couldn't help but murmur curiously as he looked at the supreme jade seal in his hand. Yi Hao did what he wanted to do. He directly smashed the supreme imperial jade seal at the teleportation array. Your Majesty, what are you doing? The thousand-pill ancestor was shocked when he saw Yi Hao's actions. A nation's imperial jade seal was extremely important to a nation. It was a treasure that controlled the fate of the nation. If the imperial jade seal was destroyed, then the fate of the nation would also be affected. This was absolutely fatal for a nation. The thousand-pill ancestor didn't understand why Yi Hao wanted to destroy the imperial jade seal. Is this kid's brain damaged? He actually wants to destroy his imperial jade seal? What's wrong with him? When they saw Yi Hao throw the imperial jade seal at the teleportation array, the Beast Emperor and Yuan, who looked at Yi Hao as if they were looking at an idiot. Zhou Dong and the others were also shocked when they saw Yi Hao's actions. Obviously, they also knew the importance of the imperial jade seal. If the imperial jade seal was destroyed, the fate of the Tianyuan Empire would dissipate, and the people would be plunged into misery and suffering. If someone else wanted to destroy the imperial jade seal, they would definitely use their lives to protect it. However, the person who had thrown the imperial jade seal was actually Yi Hao. This made them momentarily at a loss as to what to do. Under everyone's gazes, the supreme jade seal smashed fiercely against the teleportation array. However, the teleportation array didn't react in the slightest. Obviously, the damage caused by the supreme jade seal wasn't as great as the damage caused by a powerhouse at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. Kid, don't tell me you've given up on yourself. If your people knew that their emperor wanted to destroy the imperial jade seal, I wonder if they would break your spine. The beast sealing overlord and Yuan, who mocked loudly when they saw that the supreme imperial jade seal did not cause any damage to the formation. To be honest, they were a little nervous when they saw Yi Hao smashing the array with the supreme imperial jade seal. After all, as a country grew, so would the imperial jade seal. Therefore, a powerful heirloom imperial jade seal was definitely comparable to a saint weapon. Earlier, they were really worried that Yi Hao's imperial jade seal might have some special abilities. However, from the looks of it, their worries were completely unnecessary. They reckoned that if Yi Hao had thrown the imperial jade seal a little harder, the teleportation array would have been fine, but Yi Hao's imperial jade seal would have shattered. Seems like it. Yi Hao was overjoyed, as if he did not hear the mockery of the Beast King and Yuan Hu, because the system notification he heard just now was, "Ding dong, congratulations to the host for failing to trigger a one-hit kill." Although his supreme imperial jade seal did not cause the slightest damage to the array. However, this notification at least meant that the supreme imperial jade seal's fatal blow was also a joke to the array. With a thought, Yi Hao took back the supreme imperial jade seal and smashed it at the array again. Idiot! When the beast sealing overlord and Yuan, who saw Yi Hao's actions, their expressions were full of disdain. Yi Hao smashed the supreme imperial jade seal on the array more than 10 times in a row, but it still did not cause any ripples. This made the beast sealing overlord and Yuan, who too lazy to bother with Yi Hao. Zhou Dong and the others stood to the side and stopped attacking. They looked at Yi Hao and did not know whether to persuade him or not. The thousand-pill ancestor's heart was already in his throat. He was afraid that the supreme imperial jade seal in Yi Hao's hands. If he was not careful, it would be destroyed. Therefore, his gaze had been locked on the supreme imperial jade seal. As long as there was the slightest bit of something wrong, he would do his best to protect the imperial jade seal. Brother Yuan, is this kid's brain not too good? The beast sealing overlord looked at Yi Hao, repeatedly throwing the imperial jade seal, and could not help but ask. I don't know if his brain is good or not, but he's repeatedly throwing the imperial jade seal like a fool. As soon as Yuan Hu's voice fell, the two of them directly laughed mockingly. Outrageous, they dared to laugh at his majesty. If they weren't hiding in a turtle shell, I would have killed them. Zhou Dong and the others looked at the beast-sealing overlord and Yuan, who hiding in the array and daring to laugh at Yi Hao, which made them angry. In their eyes, no matter what Yi Hao did, outsiders had no right to laugh at him. On the other hand, Yi Hao's face was calm and collected, as if he did not take the beast-sealing overlord and Yuan, whose ridicule seriously. because in Yi Hao's eyes, these two were just grasshoppers after autumn. The difference between them now was whether they would die sooner or later. Although the probability of the supreme imperial jade seal's fatal blow was a little low this time, it would take more than a few days for Great Yu to arrive. However, it would take a few more days for Great Wu's reinforcements to arrive, so he had plenty of time. Unfortunately, it was so difficult to trigger the deadly strike. What do you think His Majesty is doing? Among Yi Hao's 80 to 90 subordinates, one of them asked in confusion. Although I don't know what His Majesty is doing, His Majesty has his reasons for doing everything. That's right, let's wait and see. There will be a result sooner or later. I have a feeling that His Majesty will never let us down. Discussions broke out in the crowd, and everyone began to look forward to it. Although they kept throwing the supreme imperial jade seal at Yi Hao. They were all confused, but they believed that the result of Yi Hao's actions would not disappoint them. Brother Beast, it's too boring for us to sit here. Why don't we train some girls to dance for us to relieve our boredom? Yuan Hu yawned. Brother Yuan, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Hearing Yuan Hu's suggestion, the beast-sealing overlord immediately made the arrangements. Soon, a group of dancers rushed out of the palace. Greetings, Your Majesty. The dancers bowed respectfully to the beast-sealing overlord. Don't just stand there. Quickly, dance for that Emperor Tianyuan. I'm afraid he won't be able to see it again. The beast-sealing overlord ordered the dancers with a smile. Provocation, a blatant provocation. When Yi Hao's subordinates heard the beast-sealing overlord's words and looked at the dancers who were coquettishly, they were about to explode with anger. They could not help but look at Yi Hao. The beast-sealing overlord and Yuan Hu also looked at Yi Hao. What they wanted now was Yi Hao's anger, because from the beginning to the end, they looked at Yi Hao with a calm face, as if he did not take them seriously. This made them very unhappy. Chapter 1374. Needless to say, the dancers summoned by the Emperor of Beasts were quite professional. Their dance moves were full of provocation towards Yi Hao and the others. Zhou Dong and the others were about to explode from anger. However, Yi Hao acted as if he didn't see it and continued to smash the supreme imperial jade seal in his hand against the array formation. After all, there's simply too much. If they provoke Your Majesty, it will be unbearable. The thousand-pill ancestor couldn't help but look at Yi Hao when he saw that the dancers were getting more and more out of hand. Ha ha ha. The Emperor of Beasts and Yuan Hu laughed in satisfaction when they saw the furious Zhou Dong and the others. Obviously, they were very satisfied with the performance of these dancers. Although Yi Hao acted as if nothing had happened, in their opinion, it was enough to see Yi Hao's subordinates angry. Most importantly, they felt that Yi Hao's nonchalant expression was definitely an act. Who knew how angry he was in his heart? Therefore, they weren't in a hurry at all. They wanted to see how long Yi Hao could keep up the act. However, Yi Hao's next words made them explode with anger. They're just two clowns hiding in their turtle shells. They won't be able to jump around for long. Yi Hao said disdainfully when he heard the thousand-pill ancestor's words. Who are you calling hiding in their turtle shells? Kid, who are you calling clowns? The Emperor of Beasts and Yuan Hu couldn't sit still when they heard Yi Hao's words. It was obvious that Yi Hao couldn't do anything to them, but Yi Hao still dared to spout such arrogant words. How could they tolerate this? Whoever hides in their turtle shells and doesn't dare to come out is a clown. Yi Hao couldn't help but chuckle when he saw the Emperor of Beasts and Yuan Hu's angry expressions. You. The Emperor of Beasts was speechless when he heard Yi Hao's words. If Yi Hao didn't have so many subordinates, he would have already crushed Yi Hao to death. As the Emperor of Beasts, when had he ever been provoked and humiliated like this? Kid, come in if you have the ability. If you don't, just watch the dance obediently. Yuan Hu narrowed his eyes and said coldly to Yi Hao, That's right. Aren't you arrogant? Come in if you have the ability. To say, break this array formation. The Emperor of Beasts shouted to Yi Hao when he heard Yuan Hu's words. To Beasts to break the array formation, to break the array formation, to break to say, to break the array formation. Therefore, Yihao could only stare at them helplessly. To break the breaks of break. To say, to break. To say, to say, to say, to break the, to break, 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 break, to break, to break, to break. When the thousand-pill ancestor heard the words of the beast monarch, he was so angry that his roots itched. Say, time, t, to break the time. Break the longer the battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. Your Majesty, if it doesn't work, let us try to attack again. Zhou Dong couldn't help but say to Xiahao Xuan. Although he didn't understand why Yihao kept throwing the Imperial Jade Seals, he didn't see any damage to the defensive array formation. Although they couldn't break the array formation in a short time, they could at least cause some damage to the array formation. It was better than wasting time here. In fact, they were 100% loyal to Xiahao Xuan. If it had been someone else, they would have been impatient to throw the Imperial Jade Seals for a few hours. However, they were loyal to Xiahao Xuan, so they didn't dare to show the slightest bit of impatience. How shameful it is for you to follow such a foolish master. Why don't you switch sides and follow me? I'll give you double what he gives you. The Emperor of Beasts said to Zhou Dong and the others. Yuan, whose eyes lit up when he heard the Emperor of Beasts' words. Although he felt that there was no hope of winning over Zhou Dong and the others, there was nothing wrong with trying. Therefore, Yuan, who also said, if you join my great Wu, we'll give you 10 times what that kid gave you. The Emperor of Beasts was shocked when he heard Yuan Hu's words. Brother Yuan, are you serious? The Emperor of Beasts wasn't angry because Yuan Hu wanted to snatch these people from him. Instead, he was shocked by the conditions Yuan Hu offered. One had to know that, in his opinion, Yihao would have to pay a high price to win over these people. After all, spiritual heaven realm experts weren't that easy to win over. Otherwise, his beast-sealed empire wouldn't have so few spiritual heaven realm experts. Therefore, if Yuan wanted to win over these people with 10 times the price Yihao offered, it would definitely be a sky-high price. If it was anyone else, they would probably be tempted. Of course, Yuan said with a smile. There were less than 100 people in front of them. But don't forget that these people's cultivation bases weren't ordinary spiritual heaven realm experts. They were all at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. If he could really subdue these people, he was willing to pay a high price, because he was confident that he could make these people create even greater value. When he thought of this, Yuan Hu's eyes burned with passion. His desire to subdue these people grew even stronger. At the same time, he glanced at Yihao with disdain in his heart. In his opinion, Yihao was just a brat. How could he be qualified to make these people follow him? However, if he were to find out that the cultivation of these people at the peak of the spirit heaven realm was all raised by Yihao, how would he feel? Therefore, when Yihao's subordinates heard Yuan Hu's words, they all looked at him as if he was an idiot. Not to mention that they were all loyal to Yihao because of the Earth Fiend Black Energy. They would never betray him. Even without the Earth Fiend Black Energy, they wouldn't betray Yihao. After all, the reason they had such powerful cultivation bases was all thanks to Yihao. What was Yuan Hu? Could Yuan Hu help them raise their cultivation bases? Everyone think about it. If you follow Brother Yuan, you'll be much stronger than that brat. The Beast Overlord also fanned the flames. If he could turn Yihao's subordinates against him at this critical moment, it would be interesting. Although the Beast Overlord also coveted these people in front of him. But at the moment, he really couldn't compete with Yuan Hu. After all, he still had to rely on Yuan Hu to get through this difficult situation. When Yihao's subordinates heard Yuan Hu and the Beast Overlord's words, they were all furious. But when they looked at Yihao didn't say anything, which made them a little anxious. Look at him. He's throwing the jade seal like a fool. Do you think he can break this array? Yuan Hu looked at Yihao and said disdainfully. Bang! Just as Yuan Hu's voice fell, a loud sound rang out. Chapter 1375. Following the sound of the explosion, the array formation began to crack rapidly. Seeing this scene, everyone was instantly stunned. Not good, quickly take it off. When Yihao saw that the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal had destroyed the beast-sealing Empire's protective array, he didn't even have time to be happy as he anxiously shouted to everyone. Zhou Dong and the others also didn't expect that Yihao would actually use the Imperial Jade Seal to open the beast-sealing Empire's protective array. Their faces were filled with shock, but after hearing Yihao's words, they didn't dare to think too much and quickly retreated. When the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan who saw this scene, their faces instantly turned pale. At the same time, a powerful force gushed out from the two of them to protect their bodies. At the same time, they flew up into the air. Rumble! The protective array formation was suddenly destroyed by the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. The energy was in chaos as it exploded with boundless energy that swept out in all directions. The entire Imperial City was instantly reduced to ashes. Other than the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan, who, no one in the Imperial City had the strength to resist. In front of that destructive power, countless living beings didn't even know how they died. The clear and boundless sky instantly darkened. Although Yihao's Spirit Heaven Realm subordinates escaped in time, they were still sent flying by the terrifying power. As for Yihao, under the protection of Zhou Dong and the other Spirit Emperors, his situation was slightly better and he wasn't in such a sorry state. This power is too terrifying. The group of Spirit Heaven Realm experts who were sent flying looked at the purgatory-like scene of the Imperial City with lingering fear in their hearts. They didn't doubt in the slightest that if they had been a little closer or if they had escaped a little later, they would have definitely died on the spot. Of course, the ones in the most miserable state were none other than the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan Hu. Because the two of them were inside the array formation, the power they had to endure was also the most terrifying. Although the two of them ran fast enough, they were still heavily injured. The two of them quickly rushed out of the Imperial City. Their robes were already tattered, their hair fluttered in the wind, their faces were covered in dust, and blood flowed out from the corners of their mouths. Why? Why is it like this? The beast-sealing Emperor looked down at the Imperial City and let out a painful roar. The originally bustling and majestic Imperial City had been reduced to ashes at this moment. Not a single trace of it could be found. Sand and stones were flying everywhere, and the spiritual energy had been completely burned away. Without a doubt, the Imperial City was originally a paradise for cultivation. At this moment, it had been completely reduced to a wasteland. It was estimated that for countless years to come, not even a blade of grass would grow. The beast monarch was naturally unable to accept such an outcome. He didn't understand why Yihao's simple toss of the Imperial Jade Seal would cause the sealed Beast Empire's nation protecting array to explode. If it was said that the Spirit Heaven Realm experts of his beast-sealed empire were all killed by Yihao, causing his beast-sealed empire to suffer a great loss. Now that the Imperial City had been destroyed, he had instantly become a loner. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. The beast monarch roared into the sky. His originally black hair instantly turned silver and danced without wind. Bang, bang, bang. As the beast overlord roared, a violent power swept out from his body, causing the mountain around him to instantly shatter. This is a second-level Spirit Emperor. It's indeed powerful. Yihao felt the cultivation aura of the beast monarch, and his heart sank. If he were to face the beast monarch, he would have no chance of survival. Now he finally understood why the thousand-pill ancestor was captured by the beast monarch. There was still a large gap in strength between the two of them. Kill. The beast monarch was filled with killing intent. 100 beasts, sword technique. Countless demonic beast phantoms rushed towards Yihao. Protect his majesty. When Zhou Dong and the others saw the beast monarch rushing towards them, they all revealed a dignified expression. Because the beast monarch's body was filled with a murderous aura that caused people to feel a chill in their hearts. The 100 Beasts sword technique created countless demonic beast phantoms that locked onto Yi Hao's body and sealed off Yi Hao's circulation. Obviously, the beast monarch's current target was Yi Hao. He had already disregarded everything and wanted to kill Yi Hao. Brother Beast, don't. Seeing the beast monarch suddenly attack, Yu Wenhu was shocked. In his opinion, at this time, he should not act rashly. He should continue to stall for time. After all, he was very clear about his current situation. He was injured by the explosion of the array earlier, causing him to only be able to use less than 70% of his strength. Even if the beast monarch's strength was slightly stronger than him, it shouldn't be much better. If he rashly fought now, it was very likely that he would fall into a trap. Unfortunately, it was too late for him to stop it. Kill. The group of spiritual heaven realm experts saw the beast monarch rushing over and directly faced it head-on. Spears, swords, axes, all kinds of weapons bombarded towards the beast monarch. These spiritual heaven realm experts were all at the peak of the spiritual heaven realm. They could be said to be half-step spirit emperors. With so many people's strength added together, it was extremely terrifying. Die for me. The beast monarch saw the people charging towards him and was not afraid at all. He coldly snorted. Bang, bang, bang. Countless weapons collided with the countless beasts. Many beast shadows were destroyed, but there were also many weapons that had cracks. It could be seen that the strength of these beast shadows was extremely terrifying. Crack. Finally, there were weapons that could not withstand the power of the beast shadows and began to break. Plop, plop. At this moment, there were already 2 spiritual heaven realm experts that were fighting with the beast monarch. However, they could not withstand the 3 attacks and blood splattered everywhere. They lost their lives and their corpses fell to the ground. It could be seen that this was a 2nd-level spirit emperor expert. Even a half-step spirit emperor was like an ant in front of it. Plop, plop. The fierce battle between the beast monarch and the experts was dazzling. Although the beast monarch was surrounded, there were still corpses that fell to the ground. All of you back down. Seeing this scene, Yi Hao directly ordered the group of spiritual heaven realm experts. 6 or 7 of his subordinates were killed in succession. This caused Yi Hao's heart to bleed. Of course, relying on the advantage of numbers, they could also kill the beast monarch, but that would definitely cause more deaths and injuries. This was something he did not want to see. Your Majesty, let this subordinate fight, Zhou Dong said to Yi Hao. At this moment, Zhou Dong looked at the beast monarch with eyes filled with fighting spirit. Although he was a 1st-level spirit emperor, he was not afraid of the beast monarch at all. The beast monarch was indeed strong, but he was definitely not to be trifled with. And Yi Hao directly agreed to Zhou Dong's request. In fact, even if Zhou Dong did not speak, he would still send Zhou Dong to fight, because among his subordinates, Zhou Dong's strength was the strongest. Chapter 1376. After Zhou Dong received Yi Hao's order, he took out a longbow. The longbow shone with a strange light as it shot out a dazzling light. As Zhou Dong pulled the bowstring, a terrifying energy gathered on the arrow. It emitted an unparalleled aura and a sharp battle intent that calmed the hearts of the peak spiritual heaven realm experts. Although Zhou Dong was only a level higher than them, their strength was worlds apart from Zhou Dong's. Even if Zhou Dong's target wasn't them, they still felt their legs go soft. They didn't doubt that if Zhou Dong's target was them, they would have no way out and only death would await them. Whoosh! As Zhou Dong released his grip, the arrow flew through the air. The sound it made was ear-shattering, as if it wanted to tear the world apart. Retreat. A group of peak spiritual heaven realm experts were originally fighting against the beast monarch, but upon sensing the terrifying arrow, they immediately retreated in all directions. A mere 1st-level spiritual emperor is not allowed to be impudent in front of me. Since you dare to jump out, I'll send you a horse first. The beast emperor didn't chase after the escaping peak spiritual heaven realm experts. Instead, he turned around and snorted at Zhou Dong. The Beast Emperor flipped his right hand, and a copper seal appeared. The copper seal soared into the sky and instantly became countless times bigger. It was like a small mountain, blocking the Beast Emperor like an indestructible shield. The copper seal emitted a resplendent light. Purple Beast Copper Seal. When Yuan, who saw the Beast Emperor take out the copper seal, he couldn't help but take a few more glances. The reason for that was because he had heard quite a bit about the copper seal. When the copper seal appeared, their great Wu Empire had also sent people to fight for it. Later on, the copper seal disappeared without a trace. He didn't expect that the copper seal would fall into the hands of the Beast Emperor. Break for me. When Zhou Dong saw the Beast Emperor summon a powerful defensive weapon, he roared. The arrow that was originally the size of an ant in front of the copper seal suddenly became several meters long. Boom! With a deafening explosion, the several-meter-long arrow suddenly exploded, turning into tens of thousands of arrows that slammed into the copper seal. Boom! Boom! Kacha! Kacha! In the beginning, the small number of arrows that landed on the copper seal didn't cause any damage. But gradually, web-like cracks began to appear on the copper seal. Seeing this scene, the Beast Emperor's face turned ugly. One had to know that this copper seal was one of the best defensive weapons in his possession. It had helped him avoid danger countless times and save his life countless times. He didn't expect that the copper seal would be destroyed today. Furthermore, it was destroyed in the hands of first-level spiritual emperor. This made his heart felt extremely pained. But before he could think, he wanted to retrieve the copper seal. But his actions was too late. The copper seal had still exploded, was destroyed. What a pity! Yuan, who felt his heart ache when he saw the copper seal being destroyed. He could tell that the copper seal was unable to unleash its full power due to the Beast Sealing Emperor's injury. Otherwise, it would not have been destroyed so easily. But this also couldn't help but take a few more glances. After all, even if the copper seal could not exert its full power, it was still not something an ordinary first-level spirit emperor could destroy. However, Zhou Dong was able to destroy it. This also proved that Zhou Dong was extraordinary. Who is this kid's backer? Why are there so many experts willing to listen to his orders? And that inconspicuous Imperial Jade Seal. What kind of treasure is it to be able to destroy the Beast-Sealed Empire's Imperial Protective Array? Yuan, who looked at Xia Haoshuan, his heart filled with curiosity and confusion. If possible, he wished that he could capture Xia Haoshuan right now and properly interrogate him. But he didn't dare to do so, because there were 3 first-level spiritual emperors and so many peak spiritual heavenly realm experts by Xia Haoshuan's side. He didn't dare to act rashly. Enough, it's time to end this. After the Beast-Sealed Emperor stabilized himself, he suddenly said in a cold voice, "Come out, old friend." Roar, roar, roar. As soon as the Beast-Sealed Emperor's voice fell, 4 huge creatures appeared behind him. These 4 huge creatures all emitted a terrifying aura. 3 first-level spiritual Emperor magical beasts and 1 second-level spiritual Emperor magical beast. Yuan, who was shocked when he saw the 4 magical beasts beside the Beast-Sealed Emperor. Only now did he remember that the Beast family relied on beasts to rise. Everyone was a beast tamer. If the Beast-Sealed Emperor didn't summon his magical beasts, he would have almost forgotten that the Beast-Sealed Emperor was also a beast tamer. It had to be said that beast tamers were very terrifying. Suddenly summoning 4 spiritual Emperor magical beasts could be said to have directly increased his strength by several times. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that with these 4 magical beasts, the Beast-Sealed Emperor was invincible among those of the same level. Even if it was him, he could only run away when facing these 4 magical beasts. Although he also had a few spiritual Emperor magical beasts, he wasn't a beast tamer. Therefore, his magical beasts were subdued through auxiliary means. This way, the strength and potential of the magical beasts were greatly suppressed. Normally, he would use those magical beasts as a means of transportation. However, when he was fighting against a spiritual emperor, the use of those magical beasts was next to nothing. not to mention other things. Just from the aura of the four magical beasts beside the bee-sealed emperor, he could tell that his magical beasts were far from being comparable. This was the strength of a beast tamer. After subduing a magical beast, not only would the magical beast's potential not be suppressed, but it would also stimulate the magical beast's potential and make it stronger. Tear him to shreds. The beast-sealed emperor waved his hand and ordered the four spiritual emperor magical beasts. One had to know that these four magical beasts were his final trump card. If he wasn't impatient, he definitely wouldn't have used them so early. It's your honor to be killed by my magical beasts. The beast-sealed emperor looked at Zhou Dong and snorted. Obviously, in his eyes, Zhou Dong was already a dead man. The four magical beasts that he summoned had even killed a third-level spiritual emperor powerful enemy in the past. Therefore, how could Zhou Dong, a first-level spiritual emperor, survive? When Zhou Dong saw the four magical beasts of the beast-sealed emperor, an unknown pressure appeared on his body. He sensed a dangerous aura from the four magical beasts. Zhou Dong didn't dare to underestimate the combat strength of the four magical beasts. Therefore, he quickly knocked his bow and pulled the string of arrows. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Zhou Dong's speed was abnormally fast as he constantly activated his martial arts techniques. A rain of arrows directly bombarded the four magical beasts. Roar! A magical beast with the head of a tiger and body covered in dense scales saw Zhou Dong's attack. It roared angrily and rushed towards the rain of arrows. Chapter 1377. At the same time, the body of the tiger-headed demonic beast suddenly grew several times larger, like a small mountain, blocking the path of the Emperor of Beasts. Clang! 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 Zhou Dong's first wave of arrows landed on the body of the tiger-headed demonic beast, but they were all blocked by its scales, unable to harm it at all. Isn't this defense a little too strong? Even Master Zhou Dong's arrows can't harm it. What kind of demonic beast is this? Wang Huan looked at the tiger-headed demonic beast and exclaimed, "This should be the tiger imperial scaled beast." Thousand Pill Grandmaster looked at the demonic beast with amazing defense and immediately revealed its identity. The strongest part of this demonic beast is its scales. Within the same level, almost no one can break its defense. Haha, you're quite knowledgeable. If you can't even defeat my tiger imperial scale beast, then the one with the bow, you're gonna lose. The Emperor of Beasts was very satisfied with the defensive ability of the tiger imperial scaled beast and laughed proudly at this moment. Explode! Zhou Dong shouted softly. The remaining arrows suddenly exploded when they landed on the body of the tiger-scale armored beast. Bang! 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 In an instant, the tiger imperial scaled beast body was wreaking havoc with violent energy. Roar! Crack! Suddenly, some of the scales on the tiger imperial scaled beast body that were emitting an eerie glow actually let out a cracking sound. Roar! The tiger imperial scaled beast suddenly let out an uneasy roar and charged directly at Zhou Dong. Obviously, the tiger imperial scaled beast did not want to wait for its death and wanted to take the initiative to attack. There's a chance. Zhou Dong was a little more confident in his heart. He really thought that his arrows could not harm the tiger imperial scaled beast. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. But now, it seemed that his worries were unnecessary. Although the damage he caused to the tiger imperial scaled beast was negligible, at the very least, it proved that he could break the tiger imperial scaled beast defense. That was enough. As Zhou Dong kept retreating, he kept shooting arrows. Zhou Dong wanted to break through all of the tiger scale armor beast defenses with Zhou Xian and not fight it head-on. Let's go together and kill him. The Emperor of Beasts saw through Zhou Dong's thoughts and waved his hand at the remaining 3 demonic beasts. Roar! 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 The remaining 3 demonic beasts roared and charged out. A magical beast spat out raging flames. The raging flames seemed to want to incinerate this part of the world as they pounced toward Zhou Dong. The remaining 2 demonic beasts one of ice and one of water, cooperated with each other very well, greatly increasing his battle prowess. Originally, Zhou Dong could still hold the upper hand against the tiger scale armor beast. But now that there were 3 more great magical beasts, the pressure on him increased dramatically. Break! Zhou Dong had no choice but to shoot out a rain of arrows, forming a screen of light to act as a defensive wall to block the attacks of the 3 magical beasts. Bang! 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 But with his strength alone, how could he withstand the attacks of 3 Spirit Emperor Realm demonic beasts? Most importantly, one of them was stronger than him. Thus, under the attacks of the 3 great magical beasts, the light screen shattered one after another. Roar! The Tiger Imperial Scale Beast was the closest to Zhou Dong. When it saw Zhou Dong withdrawing from the fight, its companion immediately stretched out its giant paw and slammed it down on Zhou Dong. The giant paw contained supreme pressure and crushed down on Zhou Dong, as if it wanted to smash Zhou Dong into meat paste. In an instant, Zhou Dong was surrounded by danger. Seeing this scene, the Beast Emperor's face was indescribably proud. Fight with me. I will kill you one by one. The Beast Emperor's eyes were full of murderous intent. The 3 of you go and help him. Yi Hao waved his hand and ordered the 1,000-pill ancestor, Wang Huan, and Hu Yinjua. Yes. After hearing Yi Hao's order, the 1,000-pill ancestor and the other 2 rushed out directly because they knew that time was of the essence and could not be delayed. The 3 of them were very fast and rushed to the side of the 3 great magical beasts in an instant. To Yi Hao's surprise, although the 1,000-pill ancestor was also a first-level spirit emperor, he was not inferior to Wang Huan and Hu Yinjua. The people he summoned were generally talented and stronger than most people of the same level. It was not easy for the 1,000-pill ancestor's strength to be on par with Wang Huan and Hu Yinjua. This was probably the reason why the 1,000-pill ancestor had been stuck in the first-level spirit emperor for many years. Although he had not been able to break through, as the saying goes, good preparation is the key to success. The accumulation of many years was also very terrifying. At that time, the 1,000-pill ancestor went to the Beast-Sealed Empire's imperial city. But at that time, if the Beast-Sealed Emperor did not have the help of a magical beast, it would have been impossible to take down the 1,000-pill ancestor. Phew! With the 3 magical beasts restrained, Zhou Dong once again faced the tiger scale armor beast alone. This made him directly exhale a mouthful of turbid air. Obviously, facing the tiger scale armor beast alone, he was still very relaxed. Brother Yuan, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You and I will work together and kill that brat at the fastest speed. When the Beast-Sealed Emperor saw that the 4 magical beasts were completely restrained, he did not panic at all. Instead, he revealed a look of success. The Beast-Sealed Emperor directly transmitted his voice to Yuan Hu. Yuan Hu hesitated for a moment and agreed. Okay. Of course, Yuan Hu was not impulsive. Although there were so many peak spirit heaven realm powerhouses around Yi Hao, these people together were enough to pose a threat to them. But if he and the Beast-Sealed Emperor joined forces and attacked Yi Hao without caring about anything, those peak spirit heaven realm powerhouses would not be able to stop them in a short period of time. Yi Hao looked at the 4 magical beasts and directly threw the supreme Imperial Jade Seal at the Tiger Scale Armor Beast. Although the probability of triggering an instant kill was very slim, he had nothing to do. Bang! The supreme Imperial Jade Seal directly smashed into the Tiger Scale Armor Beast's body, and the Tiger Scale Armor Beast instantly lost its vitality and fell to the ground. Boom! The ground shattered, creating a huge crater. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for triggering an instant kill. Congratulations to the host for killing the Tiger Scale Armor Beast. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for killing a first-level Spirit Emperor realm. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 11 million experience points. It triggered an instant kill just like that. To be honest, when Yi Hao heard the system prompt in his mind, he was also somewhat stunned. He did not expect that his luck would suddenly explode. One had to know that it took him several hours to break open the beast-sealed Empire's nation-protecting array. Therefore, he did not have much confidence in the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal's instant kill rate. Ding dong, discovered nation-protecting bee-soul that can be refined. Do you want to refine it? Suddenly, the system prompt sounded in Yi Hao's mind again. Yi Hao did not need to think to know that the nation-protecting bee-soul that can be refined is the Tiger Scale Armor Beast. This Tiger Scale Armor Beast is very good, especially its defense. Yi Hao was naturally very happy to refine it. Refine it for me, Yi Hao directly said to the system. Chapter 1378. Ding Dong. System reminder. Refining the Tiger Scale Beast will take 40 hours. The system notification rang out in Yi Hao's head once again. Why did the Tiger Scale Beast die? The Beast Emperor had been rushing towards Yi Hao when he suddenly felt that the connection between him and the Tiger Scale Beast had been severed. There was only one possibility, and that was the death of the Tiger Imperial Scale Beast. However, he had seen Zhou Dong's strength. Even if Zhou Dong could crush the Tiger Scale Beast, the Tiger Scale Beast's defense shouldn't have died so quickly. The Beast Emperor stopped in his tracks and looked in the direction of the Tiger Scale Beast. It's that Imperial Seal again. What kind of treasure is that? The Beast Emperor was shocked when he saw the Imperial Seal hovering above the Tiger Scale Beast. The Imperial Seal had first broken his great nation protection array and then killed the Tiger Scale Beast. It was terrifying just thinking about it. The Beast Sealing Overlord's eyes burned with passion as he looked at the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. If he could obtain the Imperial Seal, he would be able to make up for his losses, no matter how great they were. This was most definitely an incomparably powerful and frightening treasure. Yuan, who had the same thoughts as the Beast Emperor, as he had also witnessed the power of the Imperial Seal. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the Great Wu Empire was a fourth-grade empire with a long history. This was all due to the strength of the royal family. However, even the royal family didn't possess such a powerful treasure. Therefore, who wouldn't want to obtain such a treasure? Right now, there was only one thought in Yuan Hu's mind. He had to obtain this Supreme Imperial Jade Seal at all costs. The two of them suddenly changed directions at the same time and rushed towards the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. Brother Yuan, go kill that kid. I'll deal with the one with the bow. The Beast Emperor said hurriedly to Yuan Hu. When Yuan Hu heard the Beast Monarch's words, a cold smile flashed across his face. The one with the bow can kill the Tiger Scale Armor Beast. His strength cannot be underestimated. I think we should attack together and quickly kill him. When the Beast Monarch heard Yuan Hu's words, he didn't say anything. Of course, he knew Yuan Hu's goal, so he sped up. He had already changed his mind. Originally, he only wanted to kill Yi Hao and fight to the death with Yi Hao. But now, he wanted to obtain the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. As long as he could obtain the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, he would immediately run away and find a secluded place to refine it. If that was the case, he would not have to be a dog of Great Wu Empire, and he would not have to listen to them. As for Yi Hao, there would be plenty of opportunities to kill him. He believed that the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal could kill a spiritual emperor in the hands of Yi Hao, a spiritual elder. If it was in his hands, he could imagine how powerful it would be. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. This was simply an opportunity for him to rise again and reach a higher level. If he could really obtain the Supreme Imperial Seal, it was not impossible for him to trample the Great Wu Empire under his feet. Yuan Hu was also very anxious, because he could roughly guess what the Beast Monarch was thinking. He estimated that if the Beast Monarch was allowed to obtain the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, he would definitely flee quickly. This was definitely not something he wanted to see. After all, as a cultivator, he absolutely could not tolerate a treasure being snatched away in front of his eyes. His Majesty Supreme Imperial Jade Seal is too awesome. Killing a spiritual emperor, this is too terrifying. What level of weapon is this? Didn't you see that the two spiritual emperors gave up on attacking His Majesty and went to fight for the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal? This means that the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal must be an incredible treasure that can make spiritual emperors go crazy. The peak spiritual heavenly realm experts who were originally standing around Yi Hao were already focused and prepared to fight to the death, wanting to protect Haha's safety. Who would have thought that they would suddenly see Yi Hao throw out the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal and smash the tiger scale armored beast to death? This instantly stunned them. This was because they had witnessed the tiger scale armor beast's defense with their own eyes. No matter how strong Zhou Dong was, he could only slightly break the tiger scale armor beast's defense. It was extremely difficult to kill the tiger scale armor beast. However, the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal only smashed lightly. It looked incomparably casual, like a child playing house, and the tiger scale armor beast died just like that. All of this seemed so inconceivable and terrifying. Your Majesty, be careful of that treasure. It will be taken away by those two. Suddenly, many people anxiously shouted at Yi Hao. After all, the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was a terrifying treasure. If it was taken away by the Beast Monarch and Yuan Hu, the consequences would be unimaginable. They are still too inexperienced. Yi Hao sneered. He looked at the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal and directly put it back in his body. As long as this Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was in the area covered by his mind, he could put it back into his body at any time. In other words, it was completely impossible for the Beast Monarch and Yuan Hu to snatch the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. Damn it! The Beast Monarch roared when he saw the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal disappear into thin air. Although Yuan Hu did not say anything, his face was also filled with anger. They had just given up on attacking Yi Hao and ran over to the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal with all their might. In the end, Yi Hao had easily taken back the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. Yi Hao did not take it back earlier or later. Why do you have to take it back now? In their opinion, Yi Hao was completely playing with them. Brother Yuan, let's talk about other things after we kill that kid. The Beast Monarch looked at Yuan Hu and asked for cooperation again. However, this time, the Beast Monarch's tone was extremely gloomy, expressing the anger in his heart. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yuan Hu also replied with gritted teeth. The two of them were dignified spiritual emperors. They had actually been played by a kid in the spiritual martial realm. This made them feel extremely humiliated. Now, only by killing Yi Hao could they resolve the hatred in their hearts. Kill! The two of them shouted the word kill at the same time. Killing intent suddenly rose from their bodies and crushed towards Yi Hao. The group of peak spiritual heaven realm experts beside Yi Hao felt the killing intent from the Beast Monarch and Yuan Hu, and their expressions changed abruptly. This was because the terrifying killing intent from the two of them made them feel as if they could not breathe. Several treasures suddenly flew out from the Beast Monarch's body and slashed towards Yi Hao. Several treasures also flew out from Yuan Hu's body and attacked together. These seem to be spiritual emperor-level weapons. Their power cannot be underestimated. Quickly protect His Majesty and stop them. When the peak spiritual heaven realm experts saw the weapons flying towards them, they were all shocked. Their faces turned serious as they hurriedly tried to stop them. Chapter 1379. Don't be impudent. If you want to hurt my master, you'll have to get through me first. When Zhou Dong saw that the Beast Emperor and Yuan Hu wanted to attack Yi Hao again, he roared and rushed towards the two of them. Whoosh, whoosh. The rain of arrows pierced through the air at an extremely fast speed, intercepting the Beast Emperor and Yuan Hu. Open for me. The weapon in the Beast Emperor's hand swept out. Instantly, the powerful force shattered the rain of arrows in front of him. A white feather fan appeared in Yuan Hu's hand. Yuan Hu fanned at the rain of arrows with all his might, causing the rain of arrows to freeze in front of him. Boom! In the next second, the frozen rain of arrows collapsed, creating a loud explosion. After the Beast Emperor destroyed the rain of arrows, he immediately attacked Zhou Dong. A giant demonic beast phantom pounced towards Zhou Dong. The giant demonic beast phantom emitted a terrifying aura of destruction, as if it wanted to tear Zhou Dong into pieces. Yuan, who also waved the feather fan in his hand. Instantly, a world of ice and snow formed around him. Hundreds and thousands of icicles shot towards Zhou Dong. These icicles emitted a cold light and emitted an extremely cold aura. Just by looking at them, one would feel that their mind would be frozen. When Zhou Dong saw this scene, he was shocked. He knew that, with his strength, it would be very difficult to deal with the Beast Emperor and Yuan Hu. Zhou Dong's reaction was very fast. He did not dare to take it head-on. He shot out arrows to block the giant demonic beast phantom while constantly dodging the icicles. Even though Zhou Dong dodged fast enough, his body was still left with bloody scars by the icicles. However, these scars did not even have time to bleed before they were frozen by the extremely cold aura. Many ice crystals had already appeared on Zhou Dong's body. The extremely cold energy was invading Zhou Dong's body. Zhou Dong's speed had decreased by a lot. This time, Zhou Dong could not help but be in danger. Explode for me. Zhou Dong knew that if he continued to dodge like this, it would not be a good thing. He immediately swept out with his spear. Boom! The countless icicles in front of Zhou Dong were instantly shattered. However, Zhou Dong did not dare to relax because the Beast Emperor's giant demonic beast phantom has not been dealt with yet. Damn it! When Yuan Hu saw that his powerful attack had been broken by Zhou Dong, he was very unhappy. One had to know that it was extremely exhausting for him to attack the peak Earth Spirit Heavenly Realm experts around Xiaohaoshuan while launching such a powerful attack. However, Yuan Hu didn't continue to press the attack because his target was Yi Hao. The Beast Monarch was the same. After launching an attack at Zhou Dong, it immediately rushed towards Xiaohaoshuan. Right now, they didn't want to do anything but kill Yi Hao first. It seems like you guys really want to kill me, Yi Hao said calmly as he looked at the Beast Monarch and Yuan Hu. It was as if he wasn't worried at all when he saw the Beast Sealing Emperor and Yuan Hu attacking him. The Beast Sealing Monarch and Yuan Hu looked at Yi Hao. They didn't panic as they had expected. Instead, they started to panic. Sure enough, in the next second, Yi Hao's action caused their minds to freeze. They even felt that their breathing had become tense. In Yi Hao's hand, a pitch-black, inconspicuous Imperial Jade Seal appeared. However, it was this Imperial Jade Seal that caused the Beast-Sealing Emperor and Yuan Hu to be incomparably fearful. This was because the scene of the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, killing the tiger-scale beast, was still replaying in their minds. If the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal could kill the tiger-scaled beast in an instant, then wouldn't it be able to kill them as well? Although their cultivation was one level higher than the tiger-scaled beast, in terms of defense, they definitely couldn't compare to the tiger-scaled beast. Even the tiger-scaled beast couldn't block the attack of the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. So how could they block it? Brother Yuan, don't panic. I don't believe that the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal is so invincible. If the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal can kill people without limit, then wouldn't that kid be invincible? The Beast-Sealing Emperor said to Yuan Hu. When Yuan Hu heard the Beast-Sealing Emperor's words, he nodded his head and said, I'm clear about this. I'm guessing that if the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal wants to kill people, there must be a probability. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to smash your Beast-Sealing Empire's great protective array for so long before breaking it open. You're right. The probability of the instant kill is indeed random. Yi Hao didn't hide the Beast-Sealing Emperor's and Yuan Hu's guess at all. He spoke with incomparable sincerity. Good boy. You actually dare to reveal your trump card. It seems like your death is imminent. The Beast-Sealing Emperor was delighted when he heard Yi Hao's admission. On the other hand, the peak spiritual heavenly realm powerhouses beside Yi Hao were incomparably anxious. They couldn't understand why Yi Hao would tell the Beast-Sealing Emperor and Yuan Hu. Wasn't this equivalent to revealing his trump card? If he didn't reveal his trump card, he might be able to continue intimidating the Beast-Sealing Emperor and Yuan Hu. However, Yuan Hu didn't reveal a smile. Because even if the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal didn't have a 100% chance of instantly killing the enemy, there was still a probability. Who knew when this probability would trigger? If he was as unlucky as the tiger scale armored beast and triggered it, everything would be over. Of course, he could also gamble on his luck and gamble on killing Yi Hao. The Supreme Imperial Jade Seal wouldn't trigger an instant kill. However, he really didn't dare to gamble because that was completely gambling with his life. He couldn't afford to lose because once he lost, his life would be gone too. Yi Hao shook the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal in his hand and looked at the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan, who, as he said in a mocking tone, "But you can give it a try. Maybe your luck will be so good that no matter how I smash it, I won't be able to kill you." The beast-sealing Emperor's face stiffened when he heard Yi Hao's words. He finally understood why Yuan, who wasn't smiling. "Brother Yuan, what should we do now?" The beast-sealing Emperor asked anxiously as he looked at Yuan Hu. "How the F***CK would I know?" Yuan Hu felt an urge to curse. Zhou Dong was behind him, and Yi Hao's Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was in front of him. This made him feel like he was riding a tiger and couldn't get off. However, even though Yuan Hu wanted to curse, he didn't show it on his face. At the moment, Yuan Hu was thinking quickly about how to deal with the situation before him. Actually, deep down, he also wanted to punish the beast-sealing Emperor. If the beast-sealing Emperor hadn't been so impulsive and rushed to make a move, they might have been able to escape when the National Protective Array was destroyed. When reinforcements arrived, it would undoubtedly be much easier to deal with Yi Hao. However, it was futile to think too much now. "Are you guys going to make a move or not?" "If you don't, I'm going to," Yi Hao urged the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan, who with a smile. It was as if Yi Hao couldn't wait for the beast-sealing Emperor and Yuan, who to make a move. Chapter 1380. The Beast Emperor and Yuan, who stare at Yi Hao. They looked at Yi Hao with a playful expression. Even the spiritual heaven realm subordinates behind Yi Hao looked calm, as if they didn't care about the two of them at all. But they had no other choice. At this point, they could only fight with their lives on the line. As long as the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal didn't trigger the fatal blow, they could kill Yi Hao. Then, all the problems would be solved. Therefore, Yuan Hu and the titled Emperor Beast were gambling right now. If they lost, they would have nothing left. As for the people behind Yi Hao, although they looked calm on the surface, they were already facing a great enemy in their hearts. As long as something went wrong, they would protect Yi Hao with their lives. If the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal failed, Yi Hao's life would be in danger. "Are you guys going to make a move or not? My arm is a little sore from holding it up." Yi Hao looked at the two of them mockingly, then switched the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal from his right hand to his left. Yuan Hu and the Beast Emperor's hearts trembled. Yuan Hu quickly calculated in his heart. Then, two beams of light shot out from his eyes, as if he had a final decision. "Beast Emperor, since things have come to this, there's no time to consider." "You mean a fight?" the Beast Emperor asked in a deep voice. "What else can we do?" Yuan Hu clenched the white feather fan in his hand, with a trace of madness on his face. "Today's situation is destined to be a bloody battle. Instead of sitting here and waiting for death and being controlled by others, it will depend on our luck. Let's see if the heavens will bless us and if we can avoid the fatal attack of the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. If we can avoid it, we'll win. If we can't, we'll just lose our lives here." As if inspired by Yuan Hu's impassioned words, the Beast Emperor lowered his legs and secretly gathered his strength. He said in a deep voice, "All right, we'll listen to you. I'll kill Yi Hao." "Ha, good. I don't believe that I, Yuan Hu, am so bad at gambling. Yi Hao, today you'll die." When everyone saw that these two people were determined to die, they became even more vigilant. Even Zhou Dong and the others began to feel nervous. If the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was unable to trigger a lethal attack, then Zhou Dong didn't dare to think about it, nor could he afford to think about it. He waved his long spear and pointed it at the two people in front of him. "If you want to kill my master, you must first ask the permission of the long spear in my hand." Are you two trying to encourage yourselves? When Yi Hao heard the beast-sealing emperor and Yuan Hu's words, he wasn't afraid at all and sneered. Actually, Yi Hao wasn't confident either. After all, the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was involved. Even he couldn't be sure of the probability. He just wanted to see if he could scare the two of them. However, what he didn't expect was that these two people really didn't seem to be afraid of death. Come on then. Since Yuan Hu and the Beast Monarch were going to risk their lives, he naturally wouldn't back down. After all, now wasn't the time to back down. Therefore, Yi Hao took the initiative and threw out the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal in his hand. Now, everything was up to fate. Although the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal was simply thrown out by Yi Hao, in the eyes of the Beast Monarch and Yuan Hu, that inconspicuous black Imperial Jade Seal was gradually suppressing the two of them. The Beast Monarch felt the boundless pressure around him and couldn't help but have thoughts of retreating. Just as he was about to turn his head and ask Yuan Hu for a countermeasure, suddenly, a white shadow with a boundless bone-piercing coldness brushed past him. Beast Monarch, what are you waiting for? If the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal really hits us, then the two of us will be in danger. Come and help me. The Beast Monarch roared. As soon as his voice fell, the powerful demonic beast in front of Zhou Dong suddenly disappeared and appeared in front of the Beast Monarch. Damn it! Zhou Dong couldn't help but curse when he saw the demonic beast he was fighting with suddenly disappear. His face was filled with anxiety. Fuse! The Beast Monarch roared again. The demonic beast suddenly charged towards the Beast Monarch. Like a suit of armor, it quietly floated in front of the Beast Monarch. You guys forced me to do this. The Beast Monarch laughed crazily. What kind of secret technique is this? It can actually fuse with a demonic beast. Everyone was shocked when they saw the scene before them. In just an instant, the Beast Monarch's body was wrapped in a thick layer of armor, and his strength quietly increased by a small level. The Beast Monarch moved his body and felt the powerful energy coming from his body. He couldn't help but laugh heartily. Brother Yuan, don't worry. Wait until I reach you. I'll attract the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. You stay behind me and look for an opportunity to kill Yi Hao. Yuan Hu looked at the approaching Beast Monarch, and the corner of his mouth slightly rose. That's good. With the two of us working together, we'll definitely be able to kill this brat who only knows how to rely on external objects. Yi Hao looked at the two of them moving quickly and couldn't help but pray that the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal would trigger a fatal attack. Yi Hao's mind moved, and the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal that was about to fall suddenly retracted. Yuan Hu and the Beast Monarch's expression changed. They didn't know what Yi Hao was trying to do. Whoosh! At this moment, the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal that was retracted by Yi Hao suddenly flew towards the two of them. It actually emitted a sound of breaking through the air. Hearing the movement of the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, although the Beast Monarch was prepared to fight with his life on the line, his heart couldn't help but tremble as he secretly swallowed his saliva. Block him for me. The Beast Monarch suddenly stopped and roared. His aura began to rise steadily, and soon it reached its peak. In front of the Beast Monarch, an ice wall suddenly rose into the sky. It was as tall as two Beast Monarchs. With the ice wall blocking in front of him, the Beast Monarch seemed to have eaten a calming pill, and his heart became even more resolute. Finally, the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, which was like a small meteorite, arrived near the ice wall. When Yuan Hu saw this scene, he waved the fan in his hand, and similarly, a huge ice wall blocked the Beast Monarch's ice wall. The two of them attempted to use the ice wall to block the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal. The Beast Monarch's pupils suddenly shrank, and his breathing fluctuated. His state of mind was extremely unstable. With a bang, Yuan Hu's ice wall shattered. In front of the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, it simply couldn't withstand a single blow. The Beast Monarch's heart sank. He wanted to urge Yuan Hu to hurry up and kill Yi Hao. But when he turned his head, his heart sank to the bottom of the valley. Zhou Dong, attack! Yi Hao suddenly shouted. This was because Zhou Dong had already rushed in front of the Beast Monarch. Now that he saw that the Beast Monarch was distracted, he naturally didn't hesitate to let Zhou Dong attack. After receiving the order, Zhou Dong didn't hesitate to throw the long spear in his hand. The long spear was like a rainbow as it flew towards the beast monarch, who was facing the god of death. Chapter 1381. You and who? What are you trying to do? The Beast Emperor suddenly roared. It was as if 10,000 divine beasts were running through his heart. This was because he saw that the old fox that promised to fight alongside him had turned around and fled. This caused him to instantly panic. In other words, he was all alone right now. Not only did he have to fight against the Supreme Imperial Jade Seal, he also had to fight against Zhou Dong. Right now, forget about killing Yi Hao. He probably wouldn't be able to escape this calamity. Of course, if his Spirit Heaven Realm experts were still here, he wouldn't have to be so afraid. With his strength as a second-level Spirit Emperor, and the help of the 3 demonic beasts, as well as the army of Spirit Heaven Realm experts, he could easily stop Zhou Dong and the other Spirit Emperors. Wouldn't it be easy to kill Yi Hao that day? Thinking of this, the Beast Emperor's regretful gaze gathered onto Yi Hao. If it wasn't for this guy, his 2 sons wouldn't have died. His beast-sealed empire wouldn't have fallen to the point where he was the only one left. Furthermore, his strength wouldn't have been affected by the destruction of the nation protecting Array. Roar, Yi Hao, even if I die, I'll make sure you die with me. The Beast Emperor roared and ordered his remaining demonic beasts to attack Yi Hao together. Yi Hao looked at the Beast Emperor's final struggle and couldn't help but mock. Ignorant fool, you want to drag me down with you before you die? How could it be that easy? I didn't plan to kill you, but since you're seeking your own death, you can't blame me for this. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame yourself for trusting that old fox Yuan who too much. Thinking of this, Yi Hao couldn't help but smile. To be honest, he didn't expect that Yuan who would abandon the Beast Emperor and run away at such a crucial moment. But thinking about it, it was reasonable. After all, they were only working together and not some fatal relationship. To be honest, if the 2 of them worked together, he might not be able to kill the 2 of them. But now, there was only a heavily injured Beast Emperor left. To him, it was a piece of cake. Wang Huan, 1,000-pill ancestor, stopped the demonic beasts. Huyin Zhua, kill the Beast Emperor. The rest of you, surround this place. Hearing this, Wang Huan and 1,000-pill ancestor attacked the magical beasts even more fiercely. Huyin Zhua and Zhou Dong heard Yi Hao's command and began to encircle the beast monarch. Yi Hao could not help but sneer as he watched the Imperial Seal approach the beast-sealing emperor. He also saw Zhou Dong's full-powered roaming dragon spear and Huyin Zhua's full-powered twin whips. The beast-sealing empire is no more. Rumble. With the beast monarch as the center, the ground suddenly collapsed into a crater more than 10 zhang wide. Black smoke billowed in the middle of the crater, making it impossible to see the situation inside. However, everyone knew that even if the beast monarch wasn't dead, he was only on the verge of death. Not far from the battlefield, there was a middle-aged man with disheveled hair, ragged clothes, and a pale face. This person was Yuan Hu, who had taken advantage of the chaos to escape. Hearing the loud explosion, Yuan Hu's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Just a kid. No one has ever put me in such a difficult situation. Yi Hao, just you wait. When the reinforcements of the Great Wu Empire arrive, I will tear you to pieces. Looking in the direction of the beast-sealing Imperial City, Yuan Hu said angrily, "But that Supreme Imperial Seal is a treasure. I must get it." Yuan Hu pondered for a moment, then quickly ran away, fearing that Yi Hao would send people to chase after him. Yi Hao looked at the center of the battlefield calmly. With a wave of his mind, he retrieved the Supreme Imperial Seal. Zhou Dong walked out of the battlefield and came to Yi Hao's side. With a guilty face, he said, "Your Majesty, your subordinate is incompetent." Yuan Hu escaped. Should we chase after him? It doesn't matter. Yi Hao pondered for a moment, then said, "Let him go. With his temperament, he will definitely seek revenge. Let him bring our news to their reinforcements." Also, inform Elder Een and Yuang. Let them lead the rest of the people and slowly approach this place. Remember, do not expose your whereabouts. Yes, Zhou Dong said respectfully, then left. Yi Hao suddenly pulled out a long sword and walked towards the center of the battlefield. Your Majesty, you can't. Your Majesty, be careful. Everyone was worried that the beast-sealing imperial seal was not dead. Hence, when they saw Yi Hao's action, they all stopped him. What's there to be afraid of a dying man? Yi Hao waved his hand to stop them. They could not say anything else, so they left. However, their eyes were fixed on Yi Hao. At the same time, they were secretly accumulating power. If anything happened, they would be able to rescue him in time. Yi Hao's lips were still curled into a faint smile. He had purposely told them to leave the beast-sealing imperial seal alive. It was all experience points. After the black fog dispersed, Yi Hao saw the beast-sealing imperial seal lying in the huge pit. At this moment, the beast-sealing imperial seal's body was covered in blood and dust. You shouldn't have messed with me. How do you feel now? Yi Hao looked at the beast-sealing imperial seal and sneered. Cough, cough. The beast-sealing imperial seal opened its weak eyes. After seeing Yi Hao's disgusting appearance, the anger in its heart could no longer be contained. Looks like you're not convinced. How about I give you a chance? Yi Hao wanted to play with it. After saying that, Yi Hao threw the long sword in his hand. It pierced into the ground beside the beast-sealing imperial seal. At this moment, Huyin Zhua and Zhou Dong had already arrived near the huge pit. They immediately became nervous. A centipede dies, but never falls down. Moreover, with Yi Hao's cultivation, how could they not be worried? Zhou Dong took out the long bow in his hand and pulled it into a full moon, aiming at the beast-sealing imperial seal in the pit. Huyin Zhua also held the two whips in his hand tightly, ready to attack at any time. Go to hell. Seeing that Yi Hao was so arrogant, the beast-sealing imperial seal picked up the long sword on the ground without any hesitation. He used all his strength to stab at Yi Hao. Zhou Dong and the others narrowed their eyes. Suddenly, they put away all the weapons in their hands with a smile on their face. The beast-sealing imperial seal smile didn't even reach halfway before it sank again. It struggled to move its eyes and saw that there was a long spear in its abdomen that was even longer than the long sword in its hand. Yi Hao gently pushed the long spear in his hand forward. Then, he came to the side of the beast monarch, who had died with his eyes wide open, and said softly, "Do you really think you can still kill me?" Rumble. After Yi Hao finished speaking, the beast-sealing imperial seal's huge body fell to the ground with its four limbs facing the sky. It died with its eyes wide open. Yi Hao clapped his hands and left the pit. Before he left a sentence behind. In this world, there are many people who can kill me. Unfortunately, it's not you. As for the others, they will be trampled under my feet sooner or later. Yi Hao's voice wasn't loud, but it was extremely domineering. It shocked everyone present. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.